From cheating scandals to fake marriages, here's our list of dark secrets the Kardashian family tried to hide and failed. Now, something you might not know is that Kris Jenner is a serial cheater. In the mid-70s, Kris was in a relationship with Cesar Sando, the pro golfer. She then cheated on him with Robert Kardashian, whom she later married in 1978, and they had 4 children together: Kourtney, Kim, Khloe, and Robert. But then she cheated again, and they got divorced in 1991. Now, there's some suspicion that she cheated more than once on Robert, but her most significant affair was with soccer player Todd Waterman. Sometimes people think the grass is always greener, and that was like what I think I went through at some point, Kris once told People magazine. Now, when Robert became suspicious of his wife, he reportedly hired a private investigator who had plenty of evidence to prove Kris was unfaithful. Now, since then, Kris has openly admitted that she is not proud of what she did to Rob, and HuffPost also reported that Caitlyn Jenner's decision to leave Kris had a lot to do with her cheating, which I can't blame her for. And then there's the fact that with Kris's cheating, there's a theory that Khloe Kardashian's father isn't actually Rob Kardashian. According to Daily Mail, Todd Waterman came forward in 2012 to claim that Kris was sleeping with him during her marriage to Robert. He alleged that their wild and passionate affair was the catalyst for Kris and Robert's divorce. Now, when Kris wrote the autobiography Kris Jenner and All Things Kardashian, she called a mystery lover Ryan. Whether Todd is telling the truth or not, he isn't one of the men fans talk about when discussing Khloe and who her real father may be. There's rumors that Kris's former hairdresser, Alex Ralden, is Khloe's real father, and this rumor never fades because the resemblance between Alex and Khloe is honestly just uncanny. While Khloe has since had a nose job, she was previously a dead ringer for Alex. Now, O.J. Simpson was also rumored to be Khloe's father. O.J. was represented by his friend Robert Kardashian, and he was quite close to the Kardashian family. Many people believe that he and Kris had an affair, but Kris and O.J. have separately spoken out against the rumors many times over the years, and fiercely denied odd claims that they secretly reunited in the 90s to make love in a hot tub. Now, in 2017, the momager burst into tears during an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, fuming that rumors had kept up for decades. They printed a story I was sleeping with OJ. After 25 years, you would think it just wouldn't be a thing, she sobbed to Khloe. Now, 2 years later, OJ shared a video on Father's Day vowing that he was never interested in Kris in a romantic sense, while also calling out the renewed theories that he was Khloe's father. Never, and I want to stress never, in any way, shape, or form have I had any interest in Kris, romantically or sexually, he said at the time. Now, I don't know though. I kinda believe this whole theory, but who's Khloe's real father? The world may never know. Now, who could forget the moment at the 2009 VMAs when Kanye West stormed the stage when Taylor Swift was accepting her VMA for Best Female Video. Now, Kanye took the mic from her and said the infamous line, "Yo Taylor, I'm really happy for you, I'ma let you finish, but Beyonce has one of the best videos of all time." Now, this then created a feud between the pair, but it appeared that they had seemingly made up in 2015 after being seen together at award shows and posting on social media. But that all changed in 2016 as Kanye dropped his song Famous, which had the line, "I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex, why I made that be famous." Now, he claimed that he had Taylor's permission, which she denied. However, Kim Kardashian, his wife at the time, stepped in to defend him, saying that Taylor totally approved that lyric and went a step further by releasing a video of a phone call between Taylor and Kanye, which you can hear them discussing the song in question. Kim then made the internet turn against Taylor, and she went into hiding for a year. But in 2020, it was revealed that the video Kim had posted was edited. Taylor then broke her silence about the video through an Instagram story where she lightly shaded Kim by writing that she was telling the truth the whole time and that somebody edited and manipulated it to frame her, aka Kim. Now, apparently, Kim Kardashian's infamous tape with her then boyfriend Ray J wasn't released by him, but it was actually done by herself and her mother Kris Jenner to thrust her into the spotlight, as they saw that's what happened to Paris Hilton, and she got even more famous. After the tape was released, Kim sued Vivid Entertainment for ownership of the tape, and in late April of 2007, Kim dropped the suit and settled for $5 million. Ray J was made to look like the bad guy, but he's since spoken out defending his innocence. He He said, "I've sat in the shadows for over 14 years, allowing the Kardashians to use my name, to abuse my name, make billions of dollars over a decade and a half, talking about a topic I've never really spoken about. I have never leaked a tape in my life." Now, Ray J claims that Kim and Kriss negotiated the release of the tape in the early 2000s. Now, Kriss apparently watched 3 different Ray J and Kim tapes and chose to leak the one that gave her daughter a better look. Now, looking back, Ray J said that he's embarrassed of the tape. Has he said yes, he's embarrassed mostly for his children. "I have kids now. Everything I did now when we have kids is totally different. The whole thing is wacky." Now, in 2022, there were actually rumors to be another tape. In the end, Kanye West went to meet with Ray J to get the rest of the footage, or so he says, but Ray J says that all the intimate tapes were kept at Kim's house in a shoebox under her bed. I mean, this is all a lie. Since we first released the tape, this has been the biggest lie in the history of the entertainment industry. They're not letting the world know that there are a bunch of tapes that were made, but they're not going anywhere because she has them all, he said. Now, Kim's whole relationship with Kris Humphries was honestly something else. They dated for 6 months before they got married, and Kris wasn't really into all the fame, but Kim wanted it all. Not to mention, their relationship made them a lot of money. The reality star was paid $1.5 million by People magazine for their wedding photos alone. They got $300,000 for their engagement announcement, and another massive chunk of cash from both her bridal shower and the honeymoon pictures. Not to mention a bonus check they got from airing their wedding on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. But afterwards, after 72 days of marriage, Kim filed for divorce. Now, Kris felt bamboozled and cited fraud as a reason for wanting an annulment. Kim's paperwork stated irreconcilable differences, and she later discussed the marriage on her show and revealed that her mother encouraged her to run on her wedding day if she needed to. Now, following the split, Kris's lawyer told a Los Angeles fraud court that Kim had no intentions of proceeding with the marriage, that it was basically a tactic for the benefit of her show and to make money. Now, I mean, Kim even wanted her goodbye to Kriss to be on the show, but the producers rejected the idea. Jonathan Jackson, who worked with the reality star between 2007 and 2009, said that the pair's union was a publicity stunt. Speaking on Good Day LA back in 2011, Jackson said, 2 weeks prior to her wedding, she knew it was not something she wanted to do. Unfortunately, they were obligated to honor contracts with E!, the network which had TV rights, otherwise they would have owed a lot of people a lot of money. And finally, as we all clearly know, the Kardashians have had their number of scandals, but one that was truly shocking had to do with Khloe and her then ex Lamar Odom. In July 2015, Khloe and Lamar signed divorce papers. However, the divorce did not receive final approval from a judge before being dismissed by request in October 2015. Why? Well, because Lamar went missing. He disappeared from everyone and left Khloe, his fans, and every NBA and sports news outlet confused as to whether he was even alive. Now, Khloe did her best to cover the scandal, doing the whole Lamar is fine thing for a day or two, but when day 3 rolled around and Lamar was still missing, she had to come clean. But what happened to him? It turned out to be addiction related, as Lamar was hospitalized after being discovered unconscious at the Love Ranch, a legal brothel in Crystal, Nevada. Now, this made the Kardashian family turn against him, and a lot of horrible stories came out about him in the press. While it hasn't been verified, Lamar still claims to this day that it was the Kardashians who revealed his dark secrets to the press, which then drove a wedge between him and Khloe. Now, there are additional claims that when Khloe learned of Lamar's actions, she secretly hired a private investigator to follow him, and Lamar even said that Kris Jenner orchestrated an incident after the divorce to get more press surrounding their broken relationship. Now, this sounds exactly like something the Kardashians would do, so I am very inclined to believe Lamar in this situation.
The devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder. What dark secrets has this momager paid to keep out of the public eye?
For some reason, fans can't stop speculating that Khloe's biological father is someone other than the late Robert Kardashian.
I know all the rumors are absolutely ridiculous.
Is Robert Kardashian actually Khloe's father? This question has been looming over the family for like years.
My dad is my dad and my stepdad's my stepdad. Thank you.
Although this is just a theory, many people believe that Kris Jenner has paid a lot of money to anyone involved who knows the real identity of daughter Khloe's biological father.
There have been plenty of rumors about the Kardashian-Jenner family over the years. The question of Khloe's paternity has had staying power.
The topic has been debated on various online platforms in the past. Khloe was raised, by the late Robert Kardashian Sr., who passed away in 2003 from cancer. Now, he was a loving and very supportive parent to his children, but there have always been conspiracy theories about Khloe's lineage. Some people think she has a different father.
Khloe looks a little bit different from her family. Rumor that Khloe doesn't have the same father as the other sisters.
Khloe considers Robert Sr. her father, but she has dealt with hurtful gossip, from those who allege that her father is another man. The rumors stem from the fact that Khloe doesn't strongly resemble Kriss, the late Robert Sr., her siblings, or her half-siblings. Kris Jenner admitted to actually cheating during her marriage to Robert, which fueled the fire, of course, and the future momager was only 22 when she married Robert. And it's safe to say that she wasn't quite ready for a lifetime commitment. Kriss and Robert's marriage was marked by controversy. In March of 2020, Kriss made a moving confession while chatting with fashion designer Diane von Furstenberg, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, on Diane's In Charge with DVF podcast. Now, she said her unfaithfulness to Robert was her biggest regret. According to Daily Mail, Todd Waterman came forward in 2012 to claim that Kriss was sleeping with him during her marriage to Robert. He alleged that their wild and passionate affair was the catalyst for Kriss and Robert's divorce. Now, when Kriss wrote her autobiography, Kris Jenner and All Things Kardashian, she called her mystery lover Ryan, so a little different. The rumor that Kriss's former hairdresser Alex Roldan is Khloe's real father never fades because the resemblance between Alex and Khloe is honestly uncanny. While Khloe has had a nose job, she was previously, before her nose job, a shoo-in for Alex. In 2020, this rumor was stirred up again because a comedian made a comment online that was really in relatively poor taste. The comic said that Khloe and Alex look exactly the same, amongst other things. And another rumor that has circulated for years is that the late football star and actor O.J. Simpson was Khloe's actual real father. Robert Sr., was part of O.J.'s legal team during the notorious trial in which O.J. was acquitted. Robert had been a longtime friend of O.J.'s and Kriss and was very close to, Nicole Brown Simpson before she was unalived. Now, in June of 2019, O.J. actually posted a video to Twitter where he denied that Khloe was his child. It's easy to wonder why fans think that O.J. is Khloe's father. After all, Kriss and Robert Sr. had many friends, including O.J., whom Kriss now apparently loathes, but O.J. wasn't the only high-profile person in their social circle. The conspiracy theory gained steam when a Kardashian family friend alleged that Robert knew Khloe wasn't his biological child. While O.J. is now gone, he'll always be linked to the Kardashians, including Khloe, thanks to the rumors about her paternity. Meanwhile, Alex, the other man linked with that type of, gossip, is alive and well. His business, Alex Roldan Salon, is currently listed on LinkedIn. That salon is based in Hollywood, and based on Yelp reviews, the salon is a hit with a solid overall rating of 4.9 out of 5 stars. While Alex looks, remarkably like a pre-nose job Khloe, he's never actually claimed to be her father. Many fans believe that he is her dad just based on the striking physical similarities. Khloe considers Robert Sr. her father though. He did raise her and loved her. That is her dad, and her bio dad, until she says otherwise, however, is him. But this doesn't stop fans from thinking that Kris Jenner paid a lot of money for a lot of mouths to just keep, quiet about it. Kris Jenner allegedly paid a lot of money for her daughter Kim's staged marriage to Kris Humphries to be kept a tight-lipped secret. Now, one of the most talked about events on Keeping Up with the Kardashians was Kim's extremely short-lived marriage to Kris Humphries. The marriage lasted less than 3 months and commanded headlines for months following the split. Now, the whole situation was awkward, and Humphries reportedly felt very betrayed by Kim, feeling like the marriage was all in the name of ratings. Now, according to the Washington Post, that's exactly what the marriage was meant to do, drive awareness and ratings for the Kardashians family show. Now, in fact, Kim wanted her goodbye to Humphries to be on the show, but producers actually rejected the idea. These days though, Humphries, wants nothing to do with the family and has asked to be completely omitted from Keeping Up with the Kardashians as a whole. One of the most, discussed events of Keeping Up with the Kardashians was the relationship between Kris and Kim, and so naturally people were just so excited, to tune in when Humphries proposed to Kim. While many people now feel the relationship was a sham to get ratings, many viewers were so enthralled by, the couple's impending engagement, and at the time it was just so exciting. And when the moment actually came, everything happened perfectly, and apparently that's exactly as the family wanted. HuffPost actually reported that a producer admitted that the proposal actually took place multiple times, so the camera crew, could get numerous shots in an effort to get the best angles possible for the show. In fact, some actually revealed Kim had a role in planning the placement and lighting, so she could get the angles that of course she wanted for herself. Now when the news was, starting to hit the public that this whole thing was basically a sham and a lie, Kriss allegedly tried to pay a really pretty penny to news outlets and gossip blogs and columns to not disclose this information and to keep it a secret. Of course she didn't want her new, rising in popularity reality show to be tarnished or canceled because people was just thinking it was all fake. To this day, every Kardashian / Jenner will deny that their marriage wasn't legit. The only thing to come out in regards to it was when Kim said on a Keeping Up with the Kardashians reunion special that she admitted that she should have followed her cold feet before going through, with their 2011 marriage to the NBA player. But honestly, at this point, way too much has transpired since, for anyone to truly care about whether or not it was real. Kris Jenner may have been the one to leak Kim's infamous tape. Easily one of the most controversial, moments in the Kardashian saga is the release of Kim's intimate tape with Ray J. When the tape was first leaked, Kim, sued the company to keep it out of the public eye. However, many pointed out that Kim has made an impressive $5 million from the home movie, and it's possible the leak was a publicity stunt move. In fact, Ray J said it was Kim's mom, Kriss, who actually released the tape. Many believe, the release by Kriss was meant to drive attention to the family, a move that worked very well if that was the case. Only 6 months after the tape was leaked, Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered with very strong viewership. For her part, Kriss did a lie detector test on the Late Late Show with James Corden and said she had nothing to do with the leak. In Ray J's 44-minute rant, he never says Kriss negotiated for the tape's distribution with Vivid Entertainment, the company that released the tape. He does, however, though, say there were 2 different tapes, not just one, but one shot in Cabo and one in Santa Barbara, and he says, Kriss handpicked the one where Kim looked the best. By the way, the 3rd tape that is allegedly to be there is labeled Intro. He also says in his contract with Vivid, where the 3 tapes are mentioned, that Kim's fingerprints are on them, literally. Now, he says Kim wrote the section describing the 3 tapes. What's significant about this, though, is that Ray J says this is, the original contract he signed giving Vivid the rights, and he says Kim's handwriting is right there. It's interesting, though, Hirsch, part of Vivid, has said he acquired the tape not from Kim or Ray J, but from a third party. He was never, specific, but what he did say is, we are very confident in our legal position. Under California law, the person whose image is portrayed in such a video must sign off either directly or through an agent in order for the distributor to have a solid legal, position. Kim also allegedly sued Vivid for invasion of privacy, claiming that she never authorized its release. She says she ended up settling with Vivid and the suit was dropped. It was taken off the market, months later after a third party bought it from Vivid. Now, Ray J says both he and Kim struck a deal with Vivid for about $400,000 each up front and 12.5% of the profits for each of them. Now, on Instagram, Ray J deemed the lie detector test that Kriss took as fake, called them frauds. Ray J also took, aim at Corden and CBS for hiring John Grogan, which is the person, who gave, the lie detector test to Kriss, and airing the lie detector test segment, period. Representatives actually for the Late Late Show and its host did not respond or comment, of course. Ray J said in his rant, this is the dude Kris Jenner had taken her lie detector test from to make me look like a liar. together. And what's more sad is the network allowed it to happen. Everybody is getting sued for defamation. I can't wait to show you the truth. I don't give, what anybody says or feels at this point. You already think I'm a horrible person from what they've been making me look like. I'm going on one of the biggest rants of my life tonight to clear my name of this negativity. Now, despite his over the top rant on social media, none of the Kardashians responded or even acknowledged it. But the truth will probably come out one day, I'm sure of it. Did Kris Jenner pay her own son to keep a lot of secrets? Well, keep secrets. Not everyone in the Kardashian clan is a fan of the show, or the direction the family has taken. Rob Kardashian in particular has been very critical and believes, it's tainted his family in terrible ways. In fact, Rob's, disdain for keeping up with the Kardashian led him to skip Kim's wedding to Kanye so he could avoid, the show's cameras. In 2015, news broke that Rob had been hospitalized due to type 2 diabetes. And during this time, the reality star's weight gain became a subject of public scrutiny. Now, unfortunately, Rob was constantly compared to his sisters, who had become, prominent figures in the fashion and beauty industry. Now, it was as if society had imposed an unspoken beauty standard that all Kardashians must adhere to, and Rob bore the brunt of this pressure. Even his sister Khloe could empathize, having faced her own, share of public scrutiny. Now, the relentless body shaming Rob endured only added to his diminishing presence on the show. Apparently, Rob's disapproval of his family's choice of career and lifestyle is only worsening at this point as well, because there's only a couple of family members, including Khloe, who still check on him from time to time. Now, he's been involved in personal struggles, including legal battles and mental health issues, which have contributed to his decision to stay out of the spotlight. But many people think Kriss has paid him off to not only, be involved and not be involved in the show, but to not expose secrets as well, on purpose or by accident. Rob was involved in a very, long legal battle with his ex-fiancée Blac Chyna. She sued him, and the family for attacks, defamation, and cancellation of their e-show. And so, right now at this time, Chyna and Rob, none of them have commented on any of these allegations. They likely never will. I mean, of course, just maybe, unless they stop getting paid for keeping their mouth shut. Kylie Jenner has more secrets and scandals than her sisters combined, but what secrets has she paid to keep hidden and out of the public's eyes? The lip filler drama. Of course, no rise to fame is complete without a scandal, and Kylie's was all about her lips. By 2014, fans and the media couldn't stop asking one question: did she or didn't she? Kylie's ever-growing pout has sparked intense speculation about whether or not she had undergone cosmetic procedures. For months, she played coy, attributing her fuller lips to makeup tricks like overlining, but there's no way it was that. That made her plump, look that perfect. Nobody was buying that narrative. She even gave a masterclass on contouring her lips on social media, sending young fans into a frenzy to recreate the look. But as the rumors mounted, so did the pressure to come clean. Finally, in 2015, during an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kylie confessed to what many had suspected all along. She said in a very casual, offhand way that downplayed the media storm swirling around her, "I have temporary lip fillers. It's just something that I wanted to do." Jenner said she felt insecure about her lips and wanted them to be bigger for a very long time, while also saying that she wanted to balance her full lower lip with her naturally thin upper lip, and overall, she just wanted to achieve a more balanced facial profile. Critics accused Kylie of promoting a very unrealistic beauty standard, particularly to her young and impressionable fan base. The Kylie lip challenge, where young adults suctioned, their lips in an attempt to mimic her look, went absolutely viral, resulting in painful injuries for many. What should have been a cosmetic choice for a young adult quickly escalated into a public health issue. But in true Kardashian Jenner style, Kylie, capitalized on the buzz, of course. Jenner has since built a multi-million-dollar beauty company, launching her widely successful Kylie lip kit in 2015. Kylie Cosmetics actually expanded rapidly and now includes a huge range of products. On June 29th, 2017, Kylie and Kendall released a new line of vintage t-shirts for their brand Kendall Plus Kylie. The distressed, faded shirts featured superimposed images of the sisters' faces over famous musicians, including Tupac, The Doors, Biggie Smalls, and Ozzy Osbourne. Kendall Jenner and Kylie Jenner were criticized for selling shirts showing their faces and copyrighted images. They actually faced a series of lawsuits over this. The photographer of Tupac Shakur filed a lawsuit against the Jenners, alleging that they used his photos without permission. The Jenners settled the lawsuit, but there's no word on whether any money was exchanged. Biggie's estate filed a lawsuit against the Jenners, alleging that they misappropriated the rapper's image. For The Doors, the band's manager actually sent a cease and desist letter to the Jenners, accusing them of trying to capitalize on the legacy of artists who created amazing art and messages. Sharon Osbourne even chimed in and said, "Girls, you haven't even earned the right to put your face with musical icons. Stick to what you know, lip gloss." The Jenners brand apologized for any insensitivity and actually removed the designs right away. In their apology, which was shared on Instagram, they wrote, "These designs were not well thought out, and we deeply apologize to anyone that has been upset and or offended, especially to the families of the artists. We are huge fans of their music, and it was not our intention to disrespect these cultural icons in any way. The t-shirts have been pulled from retail and all images have been removed. We will use this as an opportunity to learn from these mistakes, and again, we are very sorry." Now, the brand said that the images were obtained from a company licensed to sell them, and that they did not intend to offend anyone, and that the designs were just kind of randomly selected. The shirts retailed for $125, but the high price tag was the least of everyone's concerns. Now, some social media users claimed that the reality stars were co-opting musicians' images and that the shirts were disrespectful, especially to the artists who are now passed on. The shirts were removed from Kendall plus Kylie's, website the same day they were released. Photographer Michael Miller, who took the image of Tupac that appeared on one of the shirts, later sued Kendall and Kylie Jenner, accusing them of using the image, again, without his permission. According to Rolling Stone, Miller alleged that the Jenners misappropriated and wrongfully exploited the photos and intended to exploit his photography. The sisters disputed the allegations and said they had received permission again to use these photos. It was the same song and dance. Now, the suit was dropped in 2018, but no details about a settlement were ever released even to this day. Kendall was also in a legal battle with photographer El Pereira, who sued Kendall Inc. for using his Tupac and Biggie images in that same t-shirt line. Now, TMZ at the time reported that Kendall was seeking $22,000 from Pereira to cover the legal costs of what she calls a frivolous lawsuit. Oddly enough, Pereira dropped the lawsuit only to refile just a few days later. Shortly after, though, Kendall plus Kylie released another controversial item, a Chinese takeout bag that appeared to be nearly identical to one released by Kate Spade in 2014, though no legal action was ever taken. And they never made these mistakes again, and honestly, all of their clothes and accessories mainly sit on the racks at TJ Maxx or Burlington Coat Factory, so if you're looking for them, that's where you'll find them. When Kylie Jenner announced her new skincare line, Kylie Skin, the collection included 6 products: a foaming face wash, a vitamin C serum, a toner, a moisturizer, an eye cream, and a walnut face scrub. But one of those products got all the attention for the wrong reasons, of course. Kylie was criticized for including the walnut face scrub in her skincare line, which many dermatologists warn against using them. Kylie Jenner released her walnut scrub in May 2019 and said in a video that it could be used every single day. She added, "It's gentle enough to use every day. I recommend 2 or 3 times a week. That's how much I use it." Walnut scrubs have a long, they've been a source of controversy in the skincare community, with pretty much all enthusiasts agreeing that they're not a healthy way to exfoliate the face. In fact, the popular St. Ives apricot scrub was a subject of a 2017 lawsuit. Plaintiffs claimed that the physical exfoliant created microscopic tears in their skin, leaving it vulnerable to bacteria and causing long-term damage and sensitivity. The case was tossed in December 2018, and Dr. Maria Diakow, a dermatologist, explained through email that walnut scrubs are in fact often too harsh for facial skin. She basically said using a harsh, mechanical or physical exfoliant such as a walnut-based scrub is often way too abrasive. These products can literally rip up the skin by causing micro tears in the upper layers of the epidermis, leading to inflammation, weakening the skin's protective barrier, and potentially causing textural and pigmentation issues. Now, in a promotional clip, Jenner recommends using the walnut scrub 2 to 3 times a week. She also says, however, that it's gentle enough to just use every day. She said some walnut face scrubs are kind of harsh on the skin, but this one isn't too abrasive. And according to a tweet from Kylie Skin, the ingredients in the scrub include fine walnut powder, along with glycerin to help balance the moisture in your skin, and ginseng to, extract to help energize the skin. Now, Kylie's tweet, of course, sent everyone into a frenzy online, with one person tweeting, "If you really believe that Kylie Jenner's skin looks the way it does from using her new skincare line, then you deserve all the consequences of using a walnut scrub." Well, the product is still available to buy, so I guess it does, well in sales despite the backlash.
The Kardashians are known for always being surrounded by controversy, and now they are in hot water for their association with Diddy. Throughout the years, the Kardashians have bragged about being friends with Diddy and partying with them. One of the most outspoken members of the family about this has been Khloe, as she seemed to be the closest to him. When Khloe was younger, she was actually an intern for him. Although she can't remember exactly what she did for the star, she remembers being in the studio and running around. Then, in an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, it was revealed that she even went on tour with Diddy when she was an intern, which is honestly just a little weird because she was quite young at the time. It seems like Diddy definitely could have exposed her to some of his partying ways, as she was alone with him without her family or a guardian. Now, this isn't the only alarming thing about Khloe in relation to Diddy. During a 2014 episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Khloe Kardashian told her older sister Kourtney Kardashian that she spent the weekend with, quote, a bunch of her friends, including Diddy, Quincy Combs, Justin Bieber, and French Montana. Later on, she spoke more about the party to Kourtney and one of her friends who was also there. Quote, "I haven't been to bed yet. I got on a plane at 5:30 a.m., Khloe shared. Well, this party, I think half the people were butt naked, she added, which is just, well, a little weird. Now, Kourtney wanted to know more about this, but when Khloe's friend went to explain more, Khloe shushed her and said stop talking. Maybe Khloe was nervous about what her friend could have revealed and knew it would get her in trouble, especially since they were recording for the TV show. Overall, it was just a very strange encounter, and with fans watching it back now after everything we know about Diddy, it's just all really raising some eyebrows. Now, in another clip, this time from a 2016 episode of Cocktails with Khloe, it has gone viral, showing Khloe and Kourtney talking to Diddy. Quote, "Well, I know you're known for the parties. When you think of a party or a good time, you think of Puff." Diddy simply responded, quote, "Yeah." To which Khloe added with a touch of nostalgia, quote, "We've been known to party with you a few times." She turned to her sister Kourtney asking, quote, "Do you remember Diddy's birthday?" To which Kourtney admitted, quote, "Yes, I forgot about that. That was an epic night too." Then, in an Instagram post that Khloe posted in December 2019, which has resurfaced, the photo shows Khloe alongside sisters Kylie and Kim posing next to Diddy, and the caption reads, "Nothing like a Diddy party." A lot of people have gone back to the post and have said that it's aged like milk, and some have questioned why she's even kept the post up. It's been reported that after all of this horrible information about Diddy came out, celebrities have definitely been trying to distance themselves from the star and have scrubbed their social media accounts of any photos and videos of him. While Khloe has kept the photos up, her sister Kim actually unfollowed Diddy in March, right before his houses were raided. Was the timing of this just a coincidence, or did she know something at that time that the rest of the world didn't? I mean, she's in the world of lawyers and law, and maybe someone tipped her off about all of this before it happened. I mean, Kim has known Diddy for more than 2 decades, as she was the first one spotted at one of his parties in 2006. Now, this was before her tape with Ray J was released, and before they started filming Keeping Up with the Kardashians. When she first met Diddy, she was essentially a nobody, and this actually has people questioning whether Diddy had anything to do with her rise to fame, as her ex Ray J was good friends with Diddy. According to former music industry insider Tom Swoop, he had been to the parties and posted about it on his YouTube channel. He broke down how the parties worked for the viewers and claims that the parties were separated into tiers of access. Tom claimed Diddy told him, quote, "I can make anybody do anything because this life is what they want, and I got the keys to the castle." Now, Tom didn't like any of this, so he left the party thinking, if this is what goes on behind the curtain and you're all comfortable with this, I don't want this life. He added, "There were so many celebrities there who were cool with who he was and what he did to entertain them. It's not isolated." He added, "You all need to think of everybody when you think of him and the access access and amount of people who were there. So, did Diddy have a role in helping Kim become famous? I mean, there's definitely a very real possibility. Then, there is everything with Kris Jenner. The pair were good friends, and Diddy even appeared on her talk show once. During the August 2013 appearance, things got a little flirty between the two when Diddy revealed that he long had a crush on the reality television star after seeing a throwback photo of her wearing a swimsuit. He joked to Kriss, quote, "Once you go black, you never go back," as the momager giggled, quote, "Is he flirting with me again?" Jenner returned the playful banter while interacting with another muscular male guest, telling the crowd, quote, "Don't tell Diddy about this, he's going to be so jealous." The pair were then spotted hanging out in October 2013 following the Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremony honoring producer and singer Kenneth Babyface Edmonds. Jenner, having over 20 years of experience with TV networks, even helped Diddy when he launched his own platform, Revolt TV. The pair had since posted a lot of photos together, and it appears that she was closer to Diddy than we really knew. In January 2014, she shared several selfies on Instagram with Combs taken in what appears to be his office. In one of the images, Jenner represented the brand by rocking a Revolt baseball cap, while Diddy made a phone call. In another, they made silly faces into the camera, and Jenner captioned these images, "Bad Boy 2014. Drive by just to make sure he's taken care of business. #workaholics." Now, Kriss even got Kylie Jenner involved in all of this. Kylie became an ambassador for the entertainment platform. In October 2013, Kylie celebrated the launch of the company with a tweet that read, quote, "The wait is over. @Revolt TV launches on @TWC and @Comcast today. The revolution is here. #Revolt launch." Then there's the connection between Kriss's boyfriend, Corey Gamble, and Diddy. Corey is a talent manager, so it makes sense that he had a friendship with Diddy as they work in the same industry. At one point, the pair were actually very close. Now, in an episode of the Juicy Scoop podcast, which Newsweek reported, Spencer Pratt from The Hills discussed the drama, saying, quote, "The new conspiracy on TikTok is, which I'm sure will end this week because she'll pop up on Instagram, but Kriss fled the country. No one has seen her since someone raided Diddy's house. Supposedly, she and Corey are on these tapes. This is all allegedly, it's what TikTok is saying. However, since that podcast, Kriss has participated in a handful of events and has also uploaded a handful of posts on Instagram, and she's been seen out in public, so she clearly has fled the country. But is this tape footage real? That's something we'll just have to wait and see about." An insider said that Corey Gamble was aware of Diddy's controversial engagements. A lot of people believe that Corey must have had some knowledge of what was going on, claimed the source. The insider also noted that he, quote, "totally denies these allegations." Now, fans of the Kardashians have always found Corey to be somewhat creepy, so to them, if it turns out that he is connected to all the Diddy stuff, I don't really think that they would be too shocked. Now, to back this up in a series of now deleted 2022 social messages, Kanye West also dissed Corey for his connection to Diddy and Justin Bieber. Quote, "I think he's a nice person, not a great person. A nice person who used to be around Puff's family, then got around Justin Bieber." Now, these aren't the only people accusing Corey of doing some bad things. Jaguar Wright accused Corey of being present when Diddy's ex-partner Kim Porter passed away of pneumonia in 2018. Despite her passing being ruled natural, conspiracy theories stated that Kim discovered Diddy's crimes and threatened to expose him. The theory continues to state that Diddy went to great lengths to ensure that it wouldn't happen again. She also accused Corey of training Justin a certain way and turning him into a victim of Diddy's crimes. Now, that is just extremely similar to what Kanye said, and it's all just a little unnerving, to be honest with you. Anonymous sources have come out and said that the family is embarrassed of their ties with Diddy, and that they had nothing to do with any of the crimes he committed, and that they didn't even know they were happening. It said that Kriss is in full panic mode right now due to all of this, and yeah, I mean, I get it, because it really doesn't look good for the family right now.
Coming in at number 10, Kris Jenner's bad Photoshop. The matriarch of the Kardashian family came under fire over a specific age-defying filter that she put on a selfie and a video that her makeup artist posted on Instagram. And this is not just a little airbrushing we're talking about here. No, this filter literally looks like it's AI. Because as you can probably guess, there is no way Kriss looked like that at 67. Her makeup artist took to Instagram to post a video of her with a new glam look. But it wasn't long before people accused the two of them of using extensive amounts of Photoshop and criticizing them for trying to make Kriss look so much younger than she actually is. While this is an extreme example of Kriss editing her appearance, it's far from the first time she's been criticized for doing so. In 2014, she met Gordon Ramsay when she was promoting her new cookbook, and the two of them both posted photos of the interaction online. But these photos were shockingly different. In the version that Kriss posted, the two of them are heavily photoshopped and she has noticeably smoother skin. But in the version that Gordon posted, it's a little more realistic. Number 9. Khloe Kardashian. A few years ago, an unedited photo of Khloe in a leopard print bikini went viral. Of course, she freaked out because the picture was posted supposedly by mistake. It was said that her crisis management team desperately tried to remove it from the internet, and they even sent out legal threats to people who were circulating it. The Kardashians' chief marketing officer released a statement claiming that the photo was taken of Khloe during a private family gathering, and it was an assistant who posted it to social media by mistake. Now, this was a very controversial moment for her, and fans were divided over how they felt about it. Some of them accused her of setting a bad example for women by trying to get that picture removed. Others complimented her beauty and said that they loved the photo even if she didn't mean to post it. Unfortunately, trying to hide the photo from public view only ended up encouraging more people to seek it out. The irony is that it was actually a very nice shot of her smiling beside a pool. In fact, she looked really great. But of course, some people use that as just another opportunity to try to bash her appearance. The whole thing was very upsetting, because if you think about it, Khloe has probably spent her entire life having to hear unsolicited opinions about her body. Number 8. Diet suppressant lollipops. Kim Kardashian came under fire for promoting Flat Tummy Co.'s appetite suppressant lollipops to her millions of Instagram followers. She posted a picture of herself with the Diet Aid candy and wrote, "They're literally unreal." While Kim has posted sponsored ads for weight loss products before, things like meal replacement shakes, the whole appetite suppressant thing falls into a different, far more contentious category. The lollipops contain Sadie-Reel, an extract from natural plants that is said to control cravings, food intake, and weight. But while the active ingredient is technically safe, many nutrition experts agree that appetite suppressants are a short-term, ultimately ineffective diet strategy that can promote harmful eating habits and exacerbate already existing disorders. The fact that the company product comes in lollipop form seems geared toward a younger consumer, which just makes it all the more troubling. Not only that, but relying on a suppressant is a distraction from focusing on healthy diet and exercise. So yeah, it is not a great option for people in the long term. Number 7. Kim's criticism. The reality star got an extreme amount of backlash on Instagram and Twitter, all because of those lollipops. Actress Jamila J was one of the main celebrities to call her out. In response to the post, she wrote, "You are a terrible and toxic influence on young girls. I admire their mother's branding capabilities. She is an exploitative but innovative genius. However, this family makes me feel actual despair over what women are reduced to." Jamila went on to say, "Maybe don't take appetite suppressors and eat enough to fuel your brain and work hard and be successful, and to play with your kids and have fun with your friends, and to have something to say about your life at the end other than I had a flat stomach." And Kim got plenty of criticism from her own followers too, who accused her of promoting these horrible disorders. One person wrote, "Wow, I have lost all respect for Kim Kardashian, promoting appetite suppressants when it's literally Mental Health Awareness Week. There are so many people who battle or have battled with a disorder, and she is making not eating look like it's trendy, disgusting, and selfish." Number 6. Damaging Marilyn Monroe's dress. Although Kim is used to making questionable fashion choices, many people felt that she sank to a new low when she decided to wear the famous Marilyn dress. This historical item was actually worn by Marilyn Monroe herself when she was singing Happy Birthday to President Kennedy back in 1962. It was lent out to her by Ripley's Museum. Scott Fortner, a collector who shared photos of the dress in a blog post after Kim had returned it, posted photos which appeared to show stretched fabric and missing crystals on the back. Not only that, but while she was being interviewed on the red carpet, Kim said that when she first tried the dress on, it didn't actually fit her. So to ensure that the delicate fabric wouldn't tear, she dropped 16 pounds ahead of the event in order to try and squeeze into it. She then changed into a replica once she got to the entrance of the party because she could not walk up the museum steps of the Met Gala without ripping the original. But the fact that she was even allowed to wear it was enough to anger fans everywhere. It was bought by the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum in a 2016 auction for $4.8 million, and it's usually kept in a darkened, temperature-controlled vault at 40 to 50% humidity to try to preserve the delicate fabric. So of course people were fuming that Kim permanently damaged the dress, especially because when you consider the design of it, the fabric is quite literally irreparable. Number 5. Lily Reinhart's comments. The actress spoke out about the extreme diet that Kim did in order to to fit into the dress, the same one that was once worn by Marilyn Monroe. While chatting with W Magazine, she said that attending the Met Gala is always fun, but after going again this year, she doesn't think she'll be invited back. Quote, "I said a certain something about a certain person in a certain dress. I've always wanted to stand for something. While I don't like it if one comment by me turns into 17 articles in People magazine, I never overthink what I post. It has to be a true representation of how I feel. And I would say that whether I had 100 followers or 100 million. At the time, Lily criticized Kim's extreme diet and said, to openly admit to starving yourself for the sake of the Met Gala when you know very well that millions of young men and women are looking up to you and listening to your every word. The ignorance is otherworldly disgusting," which is true considering that's the reason that a lot of people took issue with what Kim did at the Met. The controversy was not only about the fact that she lost weight to try to fit into this dress, it was about the fact that she gave a lengthy interview about how she tried to lose that weight. Number 4. Kylie's lip fillers. Kylie came under fire as a teen for getting lip injections to try and enhance her natural pout. For years, she denied this fact and simply said that she was overlining her lips with makeup to achieve this effect. She eventually capitalized on the speculation and released a product called the Kylie Lip Kit, where she assured fans that they could get similar results. But that didn't stop fans from noticing the drastic changes to her appearance in the more than 10 years since the show Keeping Up with the Kardashians aired in 2007. But after years of denying that she had lip fillers, the star eventually came clean about that particular cosmetic touch-up. During a 2015 episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kylie admits, quote, "I have had temporary lip fillers. It's just an insecurity of mine and it's what I wanted to do. But it's a little bit sad when you look at why she got it done. Quote, I was 15 and I was insecure about my lips. I have really small lips. And it was like one of my first kisses and a guy was like, I didn't think you would be a good kisser because you have such small lips." She also admitted that she definitely made her lips a little too big at one point before her sisters pointed it out and said, "Kylie, you need to chill." And they were definitely right to let her know that it was becoming too much. Number 3. Using a wheelchair as a prop. In 2016, Kylie's December-January cover of Interview magazine came out with a lot of controversy. The cover and inside photos featured the reality star posing in a golden wheelchair in a way that makes her look sort of like a doll. The then 18-year-old Kylie was dressed in a skin-tight black bodysuit and posed as though she were a mannequin staring off into space. But it wasn't the lack of clothing or the bondage theme that had people a little offended, it was the fact that she was posing in a wheelchair. Many found the shoot to be demeaning to those with disabilities. In response, several users took to Twitter to explain why it was so wrong. A wheelchair user by the name of Nylan Morton tweeted, "I will never forgive Kylie Jenner for doing that photo shoot in a wheelchair. That was ableist AF because it shows a society would rather support an able-bodied person acting disabled than actually support a disabled person talent. We deserve to be given opportunities and chances." Amidst the growing backlash, Interview magazine then released a statement defending those photos. They said, "The Kylie Jenner cover by Stephen Klein is a part of this tradition, placing Kylie in a variety of positions of power and control and exploring her image as an object of vast media scrutiny." But that was not enough to stop all the backlash. Number 2. Khloe's new face. Khloe came under fire when she posted a video to Instagram of her morning workout. She included clips of her gym moves as well as close-up shots of her face. Although most of the comments on the post were positive, some fans felt the need to give their negative opinions on her looks. People wrote things like, "What did you do to your face? And I really need to know who this woman is. She changed her whole face and body." But when someone commented simply, "Do you miss your old face?" Khloe actually responded. She simply said no. So rather than defending her appearance, she made it clear that she actually likes the way she looks now. When another person wrote, "Try without a filter," she replied saying, "What does a filter have to do with the workout, queen?" Sadly, Khloe had to address her changing appearance many times over the past couple of years, mostly because people think that she's had excessive plastic surgery. Though Khloe has only ever admitted to getting one cosmetic procedure done, that was her nose job. She talked about it on the Keeping Up with the Kardashians reunion special. She said, "For me, everyone says, oh my gosh, she's had her 3rd face transplant. But I've only had a nose job and everyone gets so upset, like why don't I talk about it? No one's ever asked me." She also revealed that she has done injections but not Botox because when she tried it, apparently her face responded horribly. And coming in at number 1, Kylie's bikini picture. In September of 2018, Kylie tweeted, "Last night I had cereal with milk for the first time. Life-changing." The post is still up to this day and it has reached 179,000 likes. At first, no one was sure whether or not she was being serious, given that most people would have tried cereal and milk together or not had it at all. Even Seth Rogen called her out because he responded to her tweet saying, "Wait till you try peanut butter and jam." And other users followed suit with someone writing, "Wait till you try coffee with hot water," or "Wait till you try butter on toast." But fans were quick to call call Kylie out, and one Twitter user by the name of Joseph Shepard even came through with evidence to prove she was lying. Apparently Kylie has posted a photo of a bowl of cereal on Instagram in 2013, and yes, the bowl had cereal, milk, and fruit in it, so obviously the internet remembers everything. But that is not all. In 2020, the reality star was also called out for posting Photoshop pictures on Instagram. She put up a series of pics in a bikini by the pool, but she left in some very obvious evidence of editing. In one photo, the edge of the pool she's standing by is completely warped, which is probably a result of her toning her leg. And Kylie quickly deleted the photos only to share them again, this time with the warped pool edge cropped out of the image. But of course, fans noticed the blunder and they also took screenshots.
Behind the glamour, makeup, and selfies lies ruthless ambition. Kim K, the master manipulator who will stop at nothing to be Hollywood's most infamous socialite. What's the true cost though? Let's dive into the list of celebs who have tried to warn us about this evil genius. The Kardashian family has been on reality TV for well over a decade, and fans always tune in to see the latest drama. Trust me, there is no shortage of gossip with this family. Kim Kardashian has not only found herself in several feuds, but has also been the topic of conversation for many celebrities who have seen the dark side of Kimmy and want to expose it. The one thing that has seemed to have been made clear is that those who dare to cross Kim do so at their own peril. You're probably very familiar with the infamous feud between Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian. It started when Kim's then husband Kanye West back in 2016 released a song with lyrics that Swift claimed she didn't approve of. After the song Famous came out, West claimed Swift gave him permission to name her, and Kim released a video of her allegedly agreeing to it. Swift said otherwise. She claimed that the video Kardashian took was manipulated and illegally recorded. Kim gave her final statement on the feud back in 2020. She wrote, "To be clear, the only issue I ever had around the situation was that Taylor lied through her publicist, who stated that Kanye never called to ask for permission. They clearly spoke, so I let you all see that. Nobody ever denied the word beach was used without her permission at all." Then Swift released the song Thank You Amy with like the K and the I and the M in caps, which many believe to be a snub to Kim Kardashian. Now, Taylor tried to warn us then just how manipulative Kim could be, but many, aside of course the millions of Swifties, took Kim's side and actually wasn't really fazed at all by it. Now, over the years, Jamila J, who you probably know from the hit series The Good Place, which is such a good show, so go watch it if you haven't and thank me later, she has called out the Kardashians. It first started when Jamila called out Kim for promoting weight loss products and specifically Flat Tummy Tea and their weight loss lollipops on Instagram. Kim shared a snap of herself sucking a red lollipop and wrote, "You guys at Flat Tummy Co. just dropped a new product and they're literally unreal." Jamila responded to that saying, "No, you're a terrible and toxic influence on young girls," and followed it with, "Maybe don't take appetite suppressors and eat enough to fuel your brain and work hard and be successful." Jamila, having faced her own eating disorders, felt compelled to speak out against Kim's endorsement of these products, citing their potential harm and lack of FDA approval. Jamila's criticism wasn't just about her promotion of weight loss products, but also about the unrealistic beauty standards she perpetuates. Now, she pointed out that Kim's toned body wasn't achieved by some teen pills, but rather with the help from paid trainers, nutritionists, and dare I say surgeons. In a tweet, Kim wrote, "This is how I maximize fat loss." Jamila was quick to reply to that tweet saying, "How do we minimize this woman's BS? When will she just love herself and stop obsessing about how to fix problems that were never there? She was always beautiful. She's never seen it because she is broken by the same society that she now contributes more toxicity to," with a little sad emoji at the end. Most recently, during an appearance on the podcast Change the World, at the time, Jamila said, "The double agent for the patriarchy is basically a woman who, perhaps unknowingly, is still putting the patriarchal narrative out into the world, is still benefiting off of, profiting of, and selling a patriarchal narrative to other women." She added, "You're selling us self-consciousness, the same poison that made you clearly develop some sort of body dysmorphia or facial dysmorphia, you are now pouring back into the world. You're like recycling hatred. Later, Kim Kardashian responded in an interview with the New York Times stating how she allegedly takes jobs so they won't make her be away from her children. She said, and I quote, "If there is work that is really easy that doesn't take away from our kids, that's like a huge priority. If someone was faced with the same job opportunities, I think they would maybe consider. You're going to get backlash for almost everything. So as long as you like it or believe in it or it's worth it financially, whatever your decision may be, as long as you're okay with that." In another tweet aimed to call out the whole family, Jamila said, "This whole family makes me sad. All the money and fame in the world can't make you stop hating your nose, your lips, your weight, your skin, your age, yourself." Jamila has been extremely vocal about her dislike for Kim, and despite all of that, she actually surprisingly did come to Kim's defense when Kim was criticized for wearing a super tight corset at the Met Gala that shocked people, with many saying her waist was too tiny and just like unrealistically small. Jamila came to her defense saying she's not trying to be realistic, she's wearing a corset. "I understand why it's not responsible to wear a tiny corset, but I also think it was a bit weird that no one talked about the fact that that was Margiela and Margiela designed, and the entire Margiela runway show was girls who were almost fainting coming down the runway in those tiny corsets. So it's a bit weird that all of the focus is on Kim Kardashian and none of the focus is on the designer or the stylist who put her in that." She added, "It's just strange to me because we feel so powerless against institutions and against industries, and so it's easier to pick an individual and make them the problem." I actually have to say, she does have a good point there. It made me think a little bit differently on the topic, but what do you guys think about that? Now, this next one is not as shocking because this talented singer is known as a women's rights activist, so it's really no surprise that she shaded the Kardashians at some point. Let's talk about Pink, the singer. She took to Twitter to make some criticisms after Kim Kardashian shook the internet by posting her full frontal nude mirror selfie, barely covering her intimate body parts with just like 2 black lines. Many celebrities actually weighed in as well, Bette Midler being one of them, tweeting, "Kim Kardashian tweeted a nude selfie today. If Kim wants us to see a part of her we've never seen, she's gonna have to swallow the camera." That's kind of funny, right? Like, okay, Bette, I see you. Well, Kim then clapped back at Midler saying, "Hey, at Bette Midler, I know it's past your bedtime, but if you're still up and reading this, send nudes, hashtag just kidding." And following that, Pink went on to tweet, "Shout out to all the women across the world using their brains, their strength, their work ethic, their talent, their magic that they were born with, that only they possess." She then wrote, "It may not ever bring you as much attention or banknotes as using your body or your body parts, but women like you don't need that kind of attention. In the quiet moments, you'll feel something called pride and self-respect. Keep on resisting the urge to cave. You'll never have to make silly excuses for yourself. Hashtag International Women's Day, hashtag be strong." She confirmed in a chat with Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live that the tweet was indeed in response to Kim's pic. She also made note to say that Kim went in on Bette Midler and said, honestly, she went in on Bette Midler, and if you go in on Bette Midler, you're probably going to hear from me. But was she being honest with that answer? Like, was it just a clever way for her to kind of dodge having to expose Kim even more? Let's get into the Larsa Pippen and Kim K drama, okay? Larsa, who gained fame after marrying NBA legend Scottie Pippen, returned to the reality scene in 2021, but her bonded connection to Kim at that point had very noticeably fizzled. Despite the clear fallout, Larsa claimed, "Honestly, Kim and I are in a good place." The two were once inseparable, with Larsa even appearing on Kourtney and Kim Take Miami. Larsa and Kim shared vacations, nights out together. They were considered to be very close friends. That is until 2020 when things took a turn and Larsa was left off the guest list for Khloe's 36th birthday party. Larsa actually revealed that she believed Kanye West was the reason for her ousting from the family's inner circle and accusing him of brainwashing Kim against her. She said she felt caught in the middle and claimed, "I took a beating because I was the friend that was basically there and saw everything." After Kanye mentioned Larsa in a July 2020 rant, Kim unfollowed her. And in a 2023 podcast, Larsa said their relationship changed because of Kanye's jealousy. Another source actually said that Kim doesn't have any type of relationship with her, and they all think Larsa is toxic energy. Following Kim's unfollowing her on Instagram, Larsa went on to say, "If your husband feels threatened by my relationship, I don't want to be that person." She also claimed to have dated Tristan Thompson, which is Khloe's baby daddy, before they got together, which likely contributed to the family's decision to distance themselves from her. She said, "I was kind of seeing Tristan before Khloe even knew he existed." She apparently introduced him to the Kardashians at a party, but after a brief time together, he began dating Khloe, which Larsa claimed had no effect on her. Larsa faced a ton of backlash and said she was so disappointed that none of the Kardashians defended her. As of now, it seems Larsa has expressed her desire to focus on her own life. And according to some sources, she's hinted in several interactions with people close to her that she has held on to many secrets of not only Kim's, but the whole family, and if she exposed even a small fraction of them, it would reveal just how toxic, or for lack of better words, how evil they can truly be. The chokehold Kim has had on people really needs to be studied. It's very apparent, and that although many have had horrible interactions with her, many are so scared to speak up. Kim Kardashian, the queen of reality TV and controversy, but what secrets has she tried to buy her way out of the public's knowledge? Let's chat about it. Kim Kardashian's marriage to Kris Humphries went viral in 2011 after they called it quits 72 days after saying "I do." Humphries filed for an annulment in November 2011, citing fraud as the reason. The wedding special premiered in October 2011, the same month Kim famously filed for divorce after just, again, 72 days of marriage. Now, both episodes begin with a disclaimer. The message begins by saying, on October 31st, 2011, Kim Kardashian filed for divorce from Kris Humphries. She released the following statement: "After careful consideration, I've decided to end my marriage. I hope everyone understands this was not an easy decision. I had hoped this marriage was forever, but sometimes things don't work out as planned. We remain friends and wish each other the best." Remaining friends, they did not. 2 months later, Kris filed a response to the divorce petition requesting an annulment due to fraud. A settlement was reached in April 2013 after a very lengthy legal battle, with the duo's divorce finalized in June 2013. Now, Kim has tried to keep this whole situation tightly sealed, even allegedly offering to pay news blogs to not interview Kris about the reasons why they didn't work out. It's alleged, that they fought over money. Just as Kris prepared to take the next step in his relationship with Kim, they began to clash over finances. When Kim brought up the possibility of buying, her dream home, Kris expressed concerns over spending too much money. He said, "I have a financial plan laid out for my life, and bringing you into my life is not going to derail my plan." Kim acknowledged in, a confessional that Kris was 1,000,000 times more frugal than her, but to his face, she emphasized that she refused to downgrade her life to make him happy if they chose to live in New York City. Kris said, "In my mind, we were about to be married and share everything. Am I about to marry this wild card who would potentially want to spend everything we have?" As tensions, continue to rise, Kris alleged Kim wasn't in touch with reality, which doesn't exactly set the tone for a proposal, but Kris hinted in a confessional that he felt very uneasy about getting down on one knee after that argument. It's even, noticed that Kris had tensions with Kim's sister Khloe, which also caused a bit of trouble as well. Now, one of the pair's biggest disagreements involved Kim taking Kris's last name after the wedding. Kim pointed out that Kris is more traditional than she is, telling friends at a party that she considered using Humphries, but her mom basically tried to shut down the idea. Ultimately, Kim decided on not changing her last name and keeping it Kardashian since her mom told her she is incorporated. I mean, none of this would ultimately matter seeing as they broke up 72 days after getting married, but yeah, at the time it was a big deal and Kris wasn't happy. The following year, Humphries defended getting caught up in their whirlwind romance. He said during an interview with Access Hollywood in February of 2012, he said, "To me, it was real. I would never go through something and do something that wasn't, real or I didn't believe in. So I can really only speak for myself in terms of that." Now, despite Kim's desperate attempts to keep this whole debacle under wraps, ultimately it would be discussed endlessly for years to follow. The infamous tape, you know which one I'm talking about. The Kardashians' long-running e-reality series, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, premiered just a few months after Kim's private tape with Ray J leaked online. Kim said at the time, "I'm not naive to the fact, that that's pretty much how I was introduced to the world. It was a negative way, so I felt like I really had to work 10 times harder to get people to see the real me. I felt humiliated. There was so, much drama and money involved with this tape, and to this day, honestly, it's still the topic of just many conversations online." Years back, Kim Kardashian filed a lawsuit against Vivid Entertainment over the distribution of the tape she made with her former boyfriend. Now, Kardashian was asking for unspecified damages, attorney fees, and all profits from the sale of the tape, according to the LA Superior Court lawsuit. Now, at the time, she said in a statement, "This tape, which was made 3 years ago and was meant to be something private between myself and my then boyfriend, is extremely hurtful, not only to me, but to my family as well. I am filing legal charges against the company who is distributing this tape since it is being sold completely without my permission or consent." The video was made during Kardashian's 3-year relationship with Ray J, which ended in 2005. Ray J, the brother and singer of Brandy, is not named as a defendant, nor is he, a plaintiff in this suit. Vivid Entertainment, which is a major producer of adult films, said it had purchased the tape for $1 million from a third party, but did not identify the person or entity. And of course, there has been much speculation to this day that Kris Jenner is the third party person, and you'd have to be living under a social media rock to have not heard about all the times, Kris Jenner has been accused of being the one to leak the tape. She even got hooked up to a lie detector test to prove her innocence in it all. However, that was faced with backlash, as many people think that was faked and staged. Anyway, Ray J over the years has called everything a lie and has accused the Kardashian Jenners of orchestrating the tape's release and using him to create drama for a storyline on the show. Kim's messy Met Gala dress drama. When Kim arrived at the 2022 Met Gala in her very sparkly nude Jean-Louis gown that Marilyn Monroe famously wore to sing Happy Birthday to President John F. Kennedy in 1962, she revealed that she had to lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks in order to actually fit into the gown. Now, she said, "It was such a challenge. It was like a role. I was determined to fit in it." She later added, "I would wear a sauna suit twice a day, run on the treadmill, completely cut out all sugar and all carbs, and just eat the cleanest veggies and protein. I didn't starve myself, but I was so strict." Following the May 2022 gala, Riverdale star Lily Reinhart slammed Kim for appearing to promote a very toxic and dangerous mindset about body image and weight loss. She said in a statement, "To walk on a red carpet and do an interview where you say how starving you are because you haven't eaten carbs in the last month, all to fit in a dress? So wrong, so messed on hundreds of levels." She wrote all that on Instagram on a story post, which of course has been deleted because that's what they all do when things go sideways. She doubled down though, however, before deleting it, and continued to say, "To openly admit to starving yourself for the sake of the Met Gala when you know very well that millions of young men and women are looking up to you and listening to your every word, the ignorance is otherworldly disgusting." In her defense, Kim's trainer, Dawn A. Matrix, maintained that she lost the weight in a very healthy way, telling TMZ, "We were working out sometimes twice a day." The reality star, later publicly addressed the controversy by comparing her decision to an acting role. She said, "To me, it was like, okay, Christian Bale, can do it for a movie role, and that is acceptable. Even Renee Zellweger gained weight for a role, it's all the same to me." She continued to say, "I wasn't saying, hey everyone, why don't you go lose this weight in a short period of time." She did say afterwards, though, that she was going to have a donut once the gala was over. A lot of people, like Lily, obviously took to social media to discuss it, and one person simply said, "People should not source nutrition advice from celebrities, period." Another person took to X, formerly known as Twitter, to say, "The fact that Kim Kardashian, knowing the mass influence she has on humans around the world, would publicly announce and essentially encourage rapid and dramatic weight loss for a look is incredibly disappointing, extremely problematic, and ultimately really sad." Tom Quinn, who's the director of external affairs for eating disorder charity Beat, said, "Dieting and weight loss advice can be very attractive to those affected by eating disorders, who may treat it as inspiration to carry out dangerous eating disorder behaviors. We strongly urge anyone affected by an eating disorder or worried about their health to not attempt to copy any dieting tips they hear and to contact their GP or care team if feeling unwell." Now, the other rumors are that she paid the press to leave out the truth, which is that she didn't actually work out and eat strict. She just took the miracle weight loss jab everyone is taking all over the world, called Ozempic. Yes, the one that has Hollywood in the ultimate chokehold, allegedly, and I say that with my very strong A. She actually just gave herself a 4 mg superdose of the appetite suppressant, and that was the real way she lost the weight so fast. But you know what they say, innocent until proven guilty. And with Kim, she's got enough money to keep a secret, so we may never really know. I'm breaking down the top 10 times the Kardashian family have absolutely destroyed their own reputation. Number 1 on my list is when Kendall Jenner, a time that she absolutely ruined her own reputation is when she had no idea what it meant to be frugal. During an interview promoting the Kardashians, the show, the family took part in a rapid-fire most likely game where Kendall made an interesting revelation about herself. She had no idea what frugal means. After being asked, which sister was the most frugal, Kendall looked slightly confused and finally turned to Kourtney to ask what the word meant. TBH, Kourtney didn't really give a stellar explanation of the word either. While she might just, not have known the word, which means, of course, if you don't know, economical or thrifty, a lot of people thought it spoke more about her financial ideologies, aka she's never had to be frugal in her entire life. This isn't the first time Kendall has made herself look completely out of touch. Remember when she couldn't cut a cucumber? Or the time she starred in that controversial, Pepsi commercial? Also in 2018 when she faced a lot of backlash for appearing in a campaign for Estee Lauder's By Night line, which a lot of people argued perpetuated, unrealistic beauty, standards. There's a lot. She definitely has had her fair share of destroying her own reputation. Number 2 is when Kim rented an entire island in the middle of a global health crisis for her birthday party. In 2020, Kim celebrated her 40th birthday in a huge way, except, we were all still in the middle of a worldwide outbreak. Despite people having lost their jobs and just struggling to get by, Kim decided to rent out an entire island and fly her friends and family on private jets to this remote location. Now, at the time, many people pointed out how it was like basically a slap in the face to people who were still, at home, and not to mention, a public health risk. Kim wrote on Instagram saying, I surprised my closest inner circle with a trip to a private island where we could pretend things were normal for just a brief moment in time. We danced, rode bikes, swam near whales, kayaked, watched a movie on the beach, and so much more. While she did add that she knew having such an event was so far out of reach for most people, she probably should have just kept the whole thing like a little bit more private. She wrote, I realize, that for most people, this is something that is so far out of reach right now, so in moments like these, I am humbly reminded of how privileged my life is. Her encounter was nonetheless, ruthlessly mocked on social media by, commentators, many of whom have been unable to seek normalcy on their own private islands during that very hard time. Number 3 is when Kylie said she was self-made, despite coming from a really wealthy family and famous family. I mean, in 2019, Kylie Jenner was named the world's youngest self-made billionaire by Forbes, but a lot of fans had an issue with that title. Not only did the, finances end up being a little off, but many people thought self-made wasn't actually an accurate title for Kylie, who grew up with immense wealth and privilege. Fans shared that it probably wouldn't have been possible for Kylie to start her business on her own if she had not had the platform her family provided. Kylie later responded to critics explaining that her parents cut her off at the age of 15, so she had no financial assistance in starting her business. Kylie told Paper Magazine, my parents told me I needed to make my own money. It's time to learn how to save and spend your own money, stuff like that. What I'm trying to say is I did have a platform, but none of my money is inherited. Jenner has said that she credits her success to social media and her large following, which is kind of fair, but she has said that she was able to kind of advertise her products directly to her fans with very little marketing expense. And just like her big sis Kendall, she has faced immense backlash for several reasons. Some honorable mentions include, lying about her net worth, exaggerating her role in building her cosmetic company. She's also been accused of cultural, appropriation, and like her sisters, of course, she's faced criticism for promoting very unrealistic beauty standards and using Photoshop and editing on basically all of her photos. Number 4, when Kim told women in business they needed to get their bleeping behind up and go to work. It's 100% easier to be successful when you're a Kardashian, but that seemed to have slipped Kim's mind, when she dished out some advice to working women, despite the fact that Kim was born into a very wealthy, well-connected family and skyrocketed to fame thanks to reality TV. She explained that she thought the problem with people in business was that no one wanted to work. Kim told Variety, get your bleeping behind up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days. You have to surround yourself with people that want to work and have a good work environment where everyone loves what they do. And while, it's true that you have to work hard to reap the benefits, it's definitely not as simple as that for people who aren't born into wealth and fame. Kim faced so much backlash, from viewers who called her out for ignoring her upbringing's role in her success and how many people do work hard but aren't fairly financially compensated. Number 5, when the Kardashian family launched a debit card with ridiculously high fees. Back in 2010, the Kardashians launched the Kardashian card with a K, a short-lived prepaid debit card so that fans could live the life of luxury similar to the family. It was issued by the University National Bank, which actually later changed their name to just Sunrise Bank, and they are known to issue prepaid cards with like insane fees. Yearly fees, monthly fees, card purchase fees, card replacement fees, ATM withdrawal fees, and even a fee to just simply check your balance at an ATM. Unfortunately, because this card ended up having all of these insane fees, including the $100 per year membership fee and fees for ATM withdrawals, cancellations, and just even like talking to a phone operator, you had to pay a fee. The card, for those very obvious reasons, did not do well. Forbes actually described it as one of the worst financial products ever introduced, like ever. This family seemed to have missed the memo that not everyone could afford these kinds of fees for a debit card, and the Connecticut Attorney General even accused the family of unfairly targeting financially unsophisticated young adults. It took less than a month for the whole thing to get shut down, which would explain why it's likely that you, me, or anyone else, hasn't actually heard of this till now. Number 6, when they rented a chimp for the week, just for fun. In the early days of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, some wild stuff went down, particularly during season 3, when the family actually spent money to rent a chimp. Yes, like a chimpanzee. Prior to Susie the chimp temporarily joining the fam, Kris had mentioned she was having a hard time, with her children leaving the nest, so her eldest daughters, decided this would be a good idea to give her someone new to take care of. While most people might settle, for a dog or a hamster, maybe even a goldfish, their Kardashians, opted for a chimpanzee, which probably cost a pretty penny and probably wasn't the best, environment for the animal. Number 7, when they allegedly underpaid the staff who worked on their apps. Now, back when the Kardashian sisters each had their own apps, they employed a staff that contributed content to the platforms. Now, unfortunately, the employees were reportedly severely underpaid, while Kim, Khloe, and Kourtney were bringing in like massive amounts of money. Years later, a former employee took to Twitter to reveal how she had been treated while working at the app, and her life was a stark contrast to the lives of the Kardashians. She actually said, I was an editor on the Kardashian apps in 2015 in LA. I worked days and nights and weekends, could only afford groceries from the 99-cents only store, called out sick more than once because I couldn't put gas in my car to get to the office, and was reprimanded for freelancing on the side. Number 8, when Khloe TP'd Kourtney's house during the worldwide health emergency, when toilet paper was basically sold out everywhere. Now, in the early days of the crisis, getting a hold of toilet paper wasn't an easy task, with people hoarding and stocking. Shelves were like often left very empty. That didn't seem to be an issue for the Kardashians though, which became super apparent when Khloe TP'd Kourtney's house with numerous rolls of toilet paper. It was tone deaf, irresponsible, and just downright like not okay at the time. Number 9, when Kendall denied allegations that her modeling career was actually handed to her. There's no doubt that Kendall, works hard as a model, but she raised some eyebrows when she kind of shared conflicting statements about the origins of her modeling career. While Kendall said she did everything she was supposed to do to get to her current position in the industry, there's no denying the fact that her family status played a huge role in propelling her to be one of the most famous models in the world. In fact, elsewhere in the interview, Kendall explained that when she was 14, she presented like a homemade modeling book to her mom, and then she did her Kris Jenner thing and made it all kind of just come to life like magic. Jenner has, modeled for designers including Karl Lagerfeld, Fendi, Calvin Klein, and Chanel. In 2018, Forbes actually named her the highest paid model in the world. And last but not least, we have number 10, when Khloe thought it was cute that a fan had to work 20 hours to afford a pair of good American jeans. Khloe's good American jeans can be very expensive, but just how pricey they are didn't really seem to set in for her until she got backlash for a social media interaction with a fan. When a fan tweeted, they had to work about 20 hours just to buy a pair, Khloe actually responded by saying, "Oh, it was so cute," that the fan wanted to pick up extra shifts in order to afford the merchandise. Social media users weren't happy to hear that someone as rich as Khloe thought that it was cute, for someone to work that hard just to afford a pair of jeans. One user even wrote, "Khloe, I think it's nice, she likes your jeans, but picking up extra shifts to be able to afford them isn't cute. You should send her a whole box for even, wanting to do that. They immediately let her know her response, made her sound insensitive and tone deaf, and it actually made a difference. Khloe later ended up sending the fan a package filled with good American items.
Kim K's infamous ugly crying face has become an iconic meme on the internet. This memorable facial expression made its debut in the early 2010s on her reality TV show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. One of the most notable instances was during season 2 of Kim and Kourtney Take New York in 2012, when she was in tears over her marriage to Kris Humphries, which lasted 72 days. This particular moment quickly became a widely circulated GIF and reaction image due to its hilarity, but the face made a reappearance during season 4 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians when Kim emotionally discussed her late father. Despite the heartfelt nature of her crying, the face had the unintended effect of adding humor to the moment. It resurfaced again when she famously lost her earring in a Bora Bora pool, a story we'll explore further down the list. These instances serve as reminders that Kim's emotions, whether sincere or dramatic, often become secondary to her very important public image. The release of Kim's intimate tape is a humongous part of her public narrative. While it undoubtedly catapulted her to fame, it remains a source of mixed emotions for her. She's expressed regret about it multiple times over the years. But the tape's exposure was a pivotal moment in Kim's life, one that garnered significant attention on the internet, but not necessarily for the right reasons. Even if you haven't seen the tape, you've likely heard about it, as it became a pop culture sensation, not just back then, but to this day. It serves as a strong reminder that not all paths to stardom are filled with pride and satisfaction. Instead, this moment in Kim's life highlights the dichotomy of fame, where a single incident can lead you to both fame and regret. Kim Kardashian's attempt to wear Marilyn Monroe's legendary dress to the Met Gala sparked global outrage. The dress was originally tailored to Monroe's unique body shape and was quite literally a garment of historical significance. Kim's decision to wear it to a modern event was seen by many as an act of disrespect towards an icon of beauty and fashion, and a slap in the face to Monroe's legacy. That's not to mention the subsequent damage to the dress, which includes lost gems, pearls, a split zipper, and broken stitches, which only added to the embarrassment for not only her, but those who had to tailor the dress for her. This situation underscores the importance of acknowledging the cultural and historical context of certain artifacts and fashion pieces. It's a stark example of what can happen when the pursuit of attention and shock value overshadows your respect for the past. Kim Kardashian's encounters with Anna Wintour, the highly influential editor-in-chief of Vogue, have been far from smooth, revealing the nuanced dynamics within the realms of both fashion and celebrity culture. One of the most notable interactions between the two was the controversial decision to feature Kim and Kanye on the cover of Vogue, which sparked considerable public backlash. In response to the criticism, Wintour utilized her trademark wit to address the situation. She suggested that continuously featuring tasteful celebrities on magazine covers could lead to monotony. This instance shows the deliberate provocations that often accompany decisions within the fashion and celebrity world, where calculated choices can stir both admiration and outrage. But that's not it. Another chapter in the Kim Wintour saga unfolded during Paris Fashion Week, when Kim arrived at an event 50 minutes late and engaged in disruptive behavior. This occasion marked a display of indifference from Wintour, who appeared in photographs with her arms crossed and facing away from Kim. This shows a huge sense of disapproval and hinted at a lack of tolerance for Kim's interesting behavior. I mean, this is a celebrity of Kim's stature. This shows that it's a powerful reminder that not everyone within the fashion world is bedazzled by the cult of celebrity. Not even amidst the glitz and glamour of high-profile events, punctuality and decorum are expected, regardless of how famous you are. I mean, it shows that in the eyes of certain figures, like Anna Wintour, respect and admiration must be earned through actions and not merely granted based on celebrity status. I mean, it adds a level of authenticity to a world often associated with being superficial. The televised proposal of Kim K and Kris Humphries shows that it's a compelling case study that shows the intricate ways in which reality television can influence and script even the most intimate and personal moments in a person's life. I mean, this proposal was broadcast to millions of viewers as part of Kim's reality show, but it shows the extent of what these shows can orchestrate and manipulate into what would have been a deeply personal event. Humphries himself admitted that he initially envisioned a private and intimate setting for the proposal, one free from the intrusion of cameras and the pressures of a scripted narrative. However, the reality TV show machinery had different plans, pushing the couple to stage the proposal in a manner that would captivate and entertain the audience. This revelation came to light during their official divorce proceedings, where Kriss divulged that certain scenes related to the proposal and wedding were not as spontaneous as they might have appeared. To Kim's dissatisfaction, her initial reaction was deemed less than ideal, necessitating the recreation of the proposal for a more dramatic effect. This shows what a fine line that reality TV treads between authenticity and scripted entertainment. It shows the pressure placed on individuals to conform to a narrative designed for ratings, often at the expense of their genuine emotions and desires. It underscores the challenges of maintaining a sense of reality in an industry where drama often takes precedence over genuine unscripted moments. Not even reality TV, but TV as a whole, the lines have been blurred between truth and entertainment. It's strategically rearranged to serve the demands of whoever's watching. The infamous flower bombing incident occurred during a red carpet event which generated widespread headlines. However, it was later revealed that the whole incident was a completely organized publicity stunt. The Kardashians confirmed the planned nature of the event in their documentary, undermining the initial impression that Kim had been caught off guard. Her claim of ignorance and shock at the time, which she expressed as the craziest and most unexpected thing to happen to her, raised questions about the authenticity of the incident. In reality, her media team had discussed the event beforehand, ensuring that she was well aware of what would occur. The incident allowed her to make headlines for both her new perfume line and the flower bombing itself, highlighting how celebrity events are carefully orchestrated just to garner media coverage. Kim's venture into the realm of promoting diet-reducing candies shed light on her profound disconnection from the everyday realities of her audience. Her endorsement of these candies, which claim to induce a feeling of fullness and support extended periods of fasting, immediately ignited a firestorm of criticism and controversy. The episode which it was featured in became a poignant example of how a celebrity's actions can inadvertently perpetrate harmful societal norms and insensitivity to crucial health-related issues. Critics were quick to pounce on Kim's promotion of such products, arguing that her actions indirectly supported the toxic diet culture that has plagued modern society. By endorsing candies that promise to suppress hunger and enable prolonged fasting, she seemed to endorse behaviors that could potentially lead to eating disorders, which is a huge concern for public health. In an era where public figures are subject to heightened scrutiny, this instance underlines the glaring lack of sensitivity to the possible repercussions of one's endorsements. It is essential to acknowledge that Kim Kardashian's intentions might have been benign, but believing she was offering her audience a solution to their body issues and weight is a big problem. The episode as a whole underscores the importance of considering the broader implications of doing something that might be viewed as benign. Celebrities, knowingly or not, hold a position of influence that reaches millions of people. Therefore, their actions and endorsements can significantly impact societal perceptions, attitudes, and behaviors. This is a valuable lesson in understanding the evolving roles of celebrities in shaping societal perspectives. It highlights the immense responsibility that comes with fame and the need to exercise great care and consideration when using your platform to endorse products or promote practices that can profoundly affect the well-being and mental health of individuals. Kim Kardashian's dramatic reaction to losing her $75,000 earring during a vacation in Bora Bora became a memorable moment in her public narrative. The incident raised several questions, primarily concerning her choice to wear such valuable earrings during a tropical vacation. Wearing expensive jewelry in a pool, where the earring could easily be retrieved, appeared impractical to many. The incident's conclusion, with Kylie Jenner diving down 10 feet to recover the earring, adding a layer of potential fakeness to the entire episode. This instance showcases how Kim's lifestyle and actions often defy the expectations of ordinary individuals. It's a reminder of the lavishness of her life and the unconventional situations that result from it. It also shows the contrast between the experiences of the super wealthy and the everyday challenges faced by the majority. I mean, even small dilemmas can become larger than life spectacles with Kim Kardashian. In 2019, she found herself at the center of a firestorm of controversy when she attempted to brand her shapewear bodysuit as a kimono. This seemingly innocuous branding choice sent shockwaves through the public and was widely perceived as an act of cultural appropriation that demonstrated disrespect towards Japanese culture. Kim's decision to redefine a traditional Japanese garment, which holds deep cultural significance, struck a chord of discord uncovered and generated intense backlash. The backlash Kim faced was rooted in a widespread feeling of insensitivity and a disregard for cultural heritage. Accusations of cultural appropriation rang loud, and many felt that she was casually co-opting an integral part of Japanese culture for her personal gain. The global response to Kim's rebranding attempt was swift and vocal, with activists and the general public calling her out for her actions. This showed the potential consequences that celebrities may face for their cultural insensitivity. Ultimately, faced with mounting pressure and the undeniable public outcry, Kim Kardashian made the decision to rename her product line to Skims. This ended up being a positive for Kim Kardashian, as Skims recently partnered with the NBA, but it still demonstrated that individuals, even high-profile celebrities, can no longer act with impunity in a globalized world where actions and decisions have far-reaching implications. Kim Kardashian's controversial interview with Variety raised questions and anger about her remarks, which were perceived as hypocritical. She suggested that the best advice for women in business was to get up and work, seemingly disregarding the complex dynamics of the modern workplace. Her comments seemed out of touch with the realities faced by working women. She appeared to imply that women weren't already working hard. Her statement brought attention to the need for public figures to be mindful of their words, especially on topics as sensitive as gender and labor. Recognizing the value of empathy and understanding the challenges that women encounter in the workforce is essential in a time when issues of gender equality and diversity take center stage in public discourse. Her subsequent public apology on Good Morning America reflected an awareness of the potential consequences of her statements and serves as a reminder that even celebrities can learn from their mistakes and acknowledge the impact of their words.
These are the Kardashian family secrets they never wanted you to find out. Kris Jenner's past is dripping with chaos, affairs, and family feuds. Forget the glam and glitz. The Kardashian matriarch has some juicy tales that could make even the most seasoned soap opera writer blush. Allegations from Robert Kardashian's old diaries suggest Kris had her fair share of mommy meltdowns, especially when it came to her superstar daughter Kim.
Show me where. Now just breathe. Everything's gonna be fine.
Apparently, she wasn't just managing a reality show. She was managing some seriously chaotic family moments.
Billy and Dilly. Stop. Okay, stop. You too. Okay.
And let's not ignore the whispers about Kris's romantic escapades. Talk about a plot twist. While the family insists these claims are as fictional as a Kardashian diet plan, the intrigue just keeps bubbling up like a fizzy soda at a family barbecue. So, what's the real scoop behind those designer shades? Is Kris a savvy businesswoman, or just a master of keeping secrets? One thing's for sure, with this family, there's always more to uncover. The Kardashians have business deals shadowed by unpaid labor and shady factories. Back in 2011, whispers of a workplace conditions scandal started swirling around the Kardashian collection. The allegations? That their shoe line was being produced in less than ideal conditions. Star magazine reported the claims, sparking rumors of child labor and unsafe factories. The Kardashians, of course, denied any wrongdoing, calling the claims untrue. Fast forward to today, and Kim K is facing a lawsuit from her domestic workers who allege unpaid overtime, missed breaks, and other not-so-glamorous labor practices. One former worker even claimed they were fired after bringing up concerns about overtime pay. Kim's response? Blaming a third-party vendor. Sound familiar? And let's not forget Kylie Jenner's brand being linked to garment factories instead of stiffing workers. It seems like this family's business ventures have a knack for stirring up controversy. Whether it's a workplace condition or a wage dispute, the Kardashians always know how to keep us talking. Kris and Bruce Jenner's marriage was as real as a designer handbag at a knockoff sale. This duo, who seemed like the ultimate power couple on reality TV, had a relationship that was more scripted than a soap opera. Kris and Bruce tied the knot in 1991, just a month after Kris's messy split from Robert Kardashian. While they smiled for the cameras and played happy family on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, insiders claimed their marriage was far from picture perfect. Caitlyn Jenner later spilled the tea in her memoir, revealing that Kris was controlling and often prioritized fame over family. Oh, and those rumors of Kris's romantic escapades? Let's just say they didn't help matters. By 2013, the cracks were too big to hide, and the pair announced their separation. But here's the kicker. Caitlyn revealed that Kris allegedly knew about her gender identity struggles all along and still pushed for the perfect couple image to keep up appearances. So was it love or just another Kardashian PR stunt? Either way, this power couple turned out to be more of a plot twist than a fairy tale. O.J. Simpson hiding out in Kim Kardashian's bedroom? Yes, that actually happened. Before the Kardashians became Hollywood royalty, their lives were already tangled in headline-making drama. In the mid-90s, during the infamous O.J. Simpson trial, the former football star was more than just a family friend. He was practically part of the Kardashian inner circle. Robert Kardashian, Kim's dad, was one of O.J.'s defense attorneys, and when things got heated, O.J. allegedly sought refuge at the Kardashian home. Here's where it gets wild. Reports claim O.J. was hiding in Kim's childhood bedroom while Robert tried to keep things under control. Yep, little Kim K's room became a temporary safe haven for one of the most questionable figures of the decade. Talk about a prequel to the drama-filled Kardashian empire. While the family has mostly kept quiet about their ties to OJ, it's a chapter of their history that fans can't stop obsessing over. From courtroom chaos to living room secrets, this bizarre connection is proof that the Kardashians have been at the center of jaw-dropping stories long before reality TV came calling. Khloe Kardashian may not be a Kardashian after all. For years, the burning question has been, is Robert Kardashian really her biological dad? It's a rumor that's dogged Khloe, turning her family history into a never-ending episode of Who's the Daddy? Adding fuel to the fire, Kris Jenner dropped a bombshell in her memoir, confessing to romantic escapades during her marriage to Robert. Cue the internet detectives. Names like O.J. Simpson and hairstylist Alex Roldan have been thrown into the mix based on some, shall we say, interesting comparisons. Even O.J. himself chimed in, on Twitter naturally. But let's face it, that only made things juicier. Khloe, bless her heart, has always considered Robert her father, but she's also had to endure relentless buzz. To make things even wilder, she's admitted to making Tristan Thompson take multiple paternity tests for their son, Tatum. It seems questioning paternity is now a family tradition and a Kardashian trait. So, is Khloe's parentage just a tabloid fantasy, or is there a truth bomb waiting to explode? Until the DNA test results come back, the Khloe paternity drama remains one of the most captivating and kooky Kardashian mysteries. The Kardashian house on TV is a total facade. Turns out, the home we all thought was the epicenter of Kardashian drama wasn't even where Kris Jenner hung her designer hats. Yep, when Keeping Up with the Kardashians first hit our screens, the action supposedly revolved around Kris's house. Plot twist: Kris didn't actually live there. She lived a whole 20 miles away. The house, which has also been featured in shows like American Horror Story and True Blood, was just a set piece. Fans were shaken when they realized the house wasn't even hers. It only came out years later when the house went up for sale. Can you imagine all those iconic scenes? The family meetings, the dramatic meltdowns happening in a rented space. So why the big deception? Was it for privacy or just another way to keep us hooked on their carefully crafted reality? Either way, the fact that the Kardashian family home was nothing more than a set just proves that what we see on TV isn't always what we get. And that, my friends, is the ultimate Kardashian secret. Scott and Kourtney's fights were all for the cameras. While their on-screen drama had fans glued to their seats, behind the scenes, it turns out these exchanges were often more choreographed than chaotic. From arguments over parenting styles to playful jabs about each other's love lives, Scott and Kourtney's bickering became a staple of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. But insiders have revealed that many of these confrontations were just for show. Producers knew that a little drama would keep viewers tuning in week after week, so they often encouraged Scott and Kourtney to amp up the tension for the cameras. One memorable blowout involved Kourtney throwing a drink at Scott during a dinner party. Classic reality TV gold. But sources close to the production hinted that it was all planned out, with producers giving them a nudge to create some fireworks. So, while fans were gasping at the drama unfolding on screen, Scott and Kourtney were likely laughing it off behind the scenes. As the curtain falls on this chapter of Kardashian history, it's clear. When it comes to reality TV, sometimes the realness is just a little too scripted. Kim Kardashian's 72-day marriage was a ratings stunt. Kim's whirlwind romance with Kris Humphries had fans swooning, but whispers of a business transaction have long dogged their short-lived union. In 2011, Kim's fairy tale wedding to the NBA player became a two-part TV special, drawing in a whopping 10.5 million viewers for E! But just 72 days later, Kim filed for separation, leading Kris to request an annulment due to dishonesty. The internet filled with speculation. Was it all a publicity stunt? While Kim moved on to Kanye West, making more money, fame, and accolades, many believed she'd married Kris for ratings and a storyline. Some sources estimated Kim earned around $250,000 per day during their marriage, thanks to sponsorship deals and media coverage. Even those close to production said they assumed that Kim realized she didn't want to marry him prior to the wedding, but continued through her contractual commitments. So, was their love story genuine or just a carefully calculated move to boost the Kardashian empire? Either way, it cemented Kim's status as a savvy businesswoman who knows how to turn a wedding and a separation into a major payday. Forget the bouquet toss, Kim was throwing dollar signs.
It seems like we haven't seen too much about the Kardashians nowadays. Why? Well, they've started to become irrelevant. Not to mention, their ties to Diddy have them looking bad. Now, how did this family get involved with Diddy? Well, it has to do with Kim K, of course. Now, Kim worked for and became friends with Paris Hilton in the early 90s. Now, Paris was a partier, and due to this, she was very close with Diddy. I mean, she even attended his first ever white party and said that it was iconic. Now, Kim was introduced to Diddy through Paris, and Kim then ended up introducing her family to him, and out of all of her sisters, Khloe became close with Diddy. When Khloe was in high school, she actually interned with Diddy. She was with him in the studio and helped with his show Making the Band. Not to mention, in an old episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Scott Disick brought up the fact that Khloe went on tour with Diddy when she was in high school, which is just weird if we're being honest, but it shows us that she's been friends with Diddy and in his circle for a long time. Now, Khloe has been very open about her friendship with Diddy. She had him on an episode of her show Cocktails with Khloe in 2016, where the pair reminisced about their past. Khloe also spoke to her sister Kourtney about Diddy's parties and just hanging out with Diddy in general. In a 2014 clip from Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Khloe tells Kourtney that she was with a bunch of her friends, which included Diddy, Quincy Brown, Justin Bieber, and French Montana. Now, it's important to note that Diddy was Justin Bieber's mentor, and the Kardashians were good friends with Justin as he dated Kendall Jenner. Then there's French Montana, as Khloe dated him briefly in 2014, but he was also really good friends with Diddy. French Montana was a longtime collaborator of Diddy and was once signed to his Bad Boy record label. Now, later, Khloe spoke more about the party to Kourtney and one of her friends who was also there. "I haven't been to bed yet. I got on a plane at 5:30 a.m., Khloe shared. "Well, this party, I think half the people were butt naked," she added, which is just, well, weird. Now, Kourtney wanted to know more about this, but when Khloe's friend went to explain more, Khloe shushed her and said, "Stop talking." Now, maybe Khloe was nervous about what her friend could reveal and knew it could get her in trouble, especially since they were being filmed, but it was honestly just a weird moment. Now, Khloe has also made many posts online talking about Diddy parties. She took to Instagram back in 2019 to share a series of pictures from a Diddy party. She captioned the post, "Nothing like a Diddy party." Now, in the pictures, she was seen posing alongside the rapper and her sisters Kim and Kylie Jenner. Now, fans have been commenting on the pictures following P. Diddy's arrest though. "This hasn't aged well," one person warned, and another said, "Yikes" at pic and caption, while a third commented, "I definitely wouldn't brag about his great parties." Now, another member of the family who has ties to Diddy is Kris Jenner and her boyfriend, Corey Gamble. Corey has long time been a friend and worked with Diddy, so a lot of people think that he knew about and maybe even participated in some of the crimes Diddy committed. An insider said that Corey was aware of Diddy's controversial engagements, as a lot of people believe that Corey must have had some knowledge of what was going on, claimed the source. But the insider also noted that he totally denies these allegations. Some people who have kept up with the Kardashians have always found Corey to be somewhat creepy, so his connection to Diddy honestly isn't too shocking. Now, to back this up, in a series of now deleted 2022 social messages, Kanye West also dissed Corey for his connection to Diddy and Justin Bieber. "I think he's a nice person, not a great person. A nice person who used to be around Puffy's family, then got around Justin Bieber." Now, regardless with the whole Diddy situation, the Kar Jenners are rumored to be panicking. Anonymous sources have come out and said that the family is embarrassed of their ties with Diddy and that they had nothing to do with any of the crimes he committed and that they didn't even know they were happening. It said that Kriss is in full panic mode right now due to all of this, and honestly, yeah, I get it because it does not look good for the family right now. But the truth is, no one really seems to care about the Kardashians anymore, as their new reality show, The Kardashians, is not that good compared to Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Now they have too much creative control and the episodes are mostly just long commercials for their various brands. They seem to be slipping away into oblivion as people really don't care for them much anymore. Now I feel like the Kardashians used to be in a scandal almost every week, but now we barely hear about them. Now one of their other recent controversies was in October when their family got an early screening of the movie Wicked. They posted photos of them in matching PJs alongside the film's stars Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo for a private screening at Kim's home. But after these photos were posted, there were a number of viral posts criticizing the event as wasteful and called out the obscene privilege of the family getting their own screening before it hit theaters. Now some people even questioned why Ariana and Cynthia agreed to go, and some social media users said this made them want to see the movie less. Then, earlier in December, Kim revealed that her family wasn't going to throw their iconic Christmas party. Kim revealed, "We're doing a really low-key Christmas Eve party this year," confirming that the annual event wouldn't take place. Now this is the second time in 46 years that the party has been cancelled, with the first being in 2020 during the pandemic. Now Kim assured that they will return in the future though. "We've had some legendary Christmas Eve parties and they're just beginning," she said. "Our kids love them and now all their friends want to come. It's such a fun tradition." Now these parties were known for being iconic, but it seems like again no one really cared that all of it was cancelled. Then people started speculating that because people didn't care about the party being cancelled, that Kim decided to last minute release that weird Santa baby music video. And let me tell you, it is weird. It consists of her singing Santa Baby with her crawling around a house in a wig while there are different people around her. It's just weird and disturbing, and some people in the comments say that this was part of a humiliation ritual so they wouldn't be connected to Diddy anymore. I don't know about those, but it was just so weird. I did not like it. Now one person commented, "Someone has attended one too many Diddy parties," while another said, "What's going on here? Am I in the Twilight Zone? Is she doing a humiliating ritual to stop her from ending up next to Diddy?" Yeah, it's definitely weird, and that was not the best way to end off the year. I'll tell you that much. Then there's also been rumors though that Kylie Jenner is pregnant again, but this time with Timothée Chalamet's baby. Now Kylie and Timothy have kept their relationship pretty low key. I mean, we don't know much about it, so it would make sense that if they were pregnant that they wouldn't announce it. Now why do fans think this? Well, in a recent TikTok video posted by Kylie on December 30th, it showed her dressed in pajamas as she did an Ulta haul with her daughter Stormi and her niece Chicago West. Now Kylie held onto the Ulta bag throughout the video, appearing to hide her belly, which made some fans suspicious that she was doing that on purpose to hide a pregnancy. Now fans in the comments were going crazy, as one said, "Covering her belly and the pregnancy nose, yeah, she's pregnant," while another added, "I think Kylie is pregnant, and if I'm right, this app is gonna be on fire real soon." So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
I'm Kim Kardashian. Of course I have 3D models, my brain and my plane in my office.
Kim Kardashian's career has been filled with controversial moments, so with that in mind, here's our list of the 5 times Kim Kardashian destroyed her career on live TV. Now starting off, we have the Tom Brady roast. Kim Kardashian appeared at Tom Brady's roast. Now the roast, which aired live on Netflix, is now missing some notable footage from when Kim first took the spotlight. Live viewers couldn't miss the crowd's boos after host Kevin Hart introduced her, but in the version currently available on Netflix, this, Kim is greeted exclusively by applause. Now as Kim makes her way to the stage, the audience's only audible reaction is applause, as it was in the original broadcast. "Thank you so much, Kevin," she says in the edited version, as she then makes a joke about his height. But that's not what happened in real life. In the live broadcast, when Kim made an earlier attempt to deliver that first joke, she was interrupted by significant booing from the crowd following the initial applause. Now after saying, "I know a lot of people make fun of your height," she looked away from the teleprompter with irritation. All right, she said. Now on Netflix, the roast includes a message that says, "Edited from a previous live stream," but why would they take out the boos though? People who saw the stream live knew what happened and were already talking about it online, as it wasn't a secret. Then there's the Marilyn Monroe dress. When Kim arrived at the 2022 Met Gala in the Marilyn Monroe dress, she revealed that she had to lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks in order to fit into the gown. Now following this, many slammed Kim for appearing to promote a toxic and dangerous mindset about body image and weight loss. Now in Kim's defense, her trainer maintained that she lost the weight in a healthy way, but all of this though got covered up through another scandal, as it was claimed that Kim actually damaged and ripped the real Marilyn Monroe dress. Now she denied it, but a Monroe collector is claiming that the dress has sustained permanent damages as a result, and frustrations have been renewed. Scott Fortner, a collector who works to authenticate and verify Monroe memorabilia, shared photos of the dress after the Met Gala that appear to show stretched and buckling fabric along with missing crystals or one left hanging by a thread. Moving on to Variety interview. The Kardashian family are known for their reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and in March of 2022, Kourtney, Kim, and Khloe, alongside their mother Kris Jenner, did an interview for Variety. During the interview, Kim was asked to offer women in business advice, and she responded with, "Get your effing ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days." Her sister Kourtney chimed in as well, saying that's so true. Now this outraged fans, noting that both sisters were born wealthy and were given a head start in life. Now Kim would soon regret saying this as for the backlash and the memes. Variety then posted the clip to TikTok, gaining over 3.3 million views in 6 days. Now the original sound, consisting of Kim's quote, inspired over 13,000 videos in the same period of time, where people used it for comedy skits or just making fun of Kim and the quote. Then there's flat tummy tea. Kim was branded a toxic influence after she shared pictures of herself sucking on an appetite suppressant lollipop with her at the time 111 million followers, and encouraged them to be quick in buying them up. Now this outraged fans, and after this Jamila J tweeted, "You're a terrible and toxic influence on young girls. I admire their mother's branding capabilities. She is an exploitative but innovative genius. However, this family makes me feel actual despair over what women are reduced to." Now Kim ended up changing her caption after, but the damage was already done. And lastly, we have the 72-day marriage. Remember when Kim got married to NBA player Kris Humphries, and then remember just 72 days later she divorced him? Well, people have referred to their marriage as a scheme for money. I mean, their relationship was a media storm every step of the way. From dating for only 6 months, to their mega wedding with 400 guests, to the massive payday for the wedding and honeymoon photos. See, for most weddings it means losing a ton of money, but not for Kim. The reality star was paid $1.5 million by people for their wedding photos alone. Now they also got $300,000 for their engagement announcement, and another massive chunk of cash from both her bridal shower and honeymoon pictures. Not to mention the bonus check they got from airing their wedding on Keeping Up. Following their split, Chris's lawyer told a Los Angeles fraud court that Kim had no intentions of proceeding with the marriage, and that it was basically a tactic for the benefit of her show and to make money. Well, that's all for the 5 times Kim Kardashian destroyed her career on live TV. Now I'm sure there will be many more incidents that we can add to this list, because if Kim is known for one thing, it's being controversial.
For number 10, we have Amber Rose. This model and rapper was once dating Kanye West between 2008 and 2010. In fact, she dated the rapper right before Kim, which is already a recipe for drama. In 2015, she tweeted to the famous family and referred to them as the Kardashians, which she has expressed as immature years later. But this is nothing compared to the deep history rooted between them, as Amber believes Kanye Kanye's album titled My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was about her, with some hinting that Kanye cheated on Amber with Kim. In 2012, Amber told the New York Post that Kanye can't be faithful, and it's not with just one person, but with a lot, before adding he's unfaithful with a lot of different women, and she just got to a point where her heart couldn't take it anymore. And in another interview with Star Magazine, she even called out Kim by her name and claimed that Kim is one of the main reasons why her and Kanye are not together, and labeled her as a homewrecker. At the time, Kim was dating Reggie Bush, as Amber suggests that both her and Reggie were being played by Kim and Kanye. Apparently, Kim would send pictures which we could only speculate to be suggestive to Kanye, and Amber found out, which of course angered her and told Kim to stop and not be that person. Kim allegedly never responded. However, over the recent years, Amber has actually seemed to be defending Kim in some situations, so maybe one day or even in a different universe things will be different. And for number 9, we have Pink. This artist is not only a very talented singer, but she's also a known women's rights activist. One particular incident where Pink called out Kim was following the birth of her second child, saying, "Following the birth of your child, many mothers may share pictures of their nursery or family bonding, but Kim posted a mirror selfie where she was seen wearing her birthday suit with black bars to cover just a sliver. She took it to Twitter to share her criticism, and she wrote, "Shout out to all the women across the world using their brains, their strength, their work ethic, their talent, their magic that they were born with. The only thing they possess. It may not ever bring you as much attention or banknotes as using your body, but women like you don't need that type of attention," before continuing her statement promoting self-respect and pride. For number 8, we have the Kardashian Jenner kids. More specifically, Mason Disick, who was a son of Kourtney and Scott, and Northwest, Kim and Kanye's daughter. Back in 2020, Scott and Kourtney actually had to take down Mason's Instagram account after he was talking to fans and even spilled some of the family secrets. Rumors at the time were hinting at Kylie and Travis getting back together, so Mason took it as his responsibility to say that Kylie and Travis are not together on his live stream. And within hours, his parents took down his account, and within 24 hours, Mason set up a TikTok account where he live streamed some more. One viewer asked him where his Instagram account went, and he responded by saying it got deleted because he was too young. Because he went viral, before adding he would have had 2.7 million followers by now if the account was kept up. As of North, she of course is Kanye's daughter, so I can guess you can put the two dots together, as she is as outspoken as her father. In one scene featured in their reality show, Kim calls out North for telling Kendall that she hated her Met Gala outfit, as she told Kendall to her face that she loved it. And in another instance, Kim was filming a video for her Instagram story when you could hear North in the background question her mom about changing her voice while filming. Kim denied this, but Penelope was seen nodding her head, agreeing with North. She also recently went viral for ripping apart other celebrities' outfits from the Met Gala, even saying that Pete Davidson's outfit looked like he was going to the gas station. There is so much more these kids have shared, it honestly could be its own video itself. And for number 7, we have Rihanna. This one is honestly kind of funny because it seems like for years now, Rihanna has shown her dislike towards the family, more specifically Kendall Jenner. This first started in 2012 when Kendall tweeted, "If Rihanna does not perform Complicated tomorrow, I am gonna be very upset. #fave song." Rihanna saw this and responded by saying, "Well, don't come." And during the 2018 Met Gala, she even talked about Kendall's figure, calling her a stick figure. The singer has also accused Kendall of being a copycat trendsetter and has called the entire family privileged and entitled. Many speculate this hatred Rihanna has towards Kendall specifically is because both ladies have been tied to A$AP Rocky. They dated for a brief time that roughly started in mid-2016, and in July of 2017, the couple went public. But just a few months later, they called it quits, apparently over difficulties with scheduling. And if you don't know, A$AP Rocky and Rihanna were rumored to have first begun dating back in 2013, but it faded, and 7 years later, they were reunited. The rapper has often referred to Rihanna as the love of his life, as they have also welcomed 2 kids together. And for number 6, we have Lily Reinhart. This actress is best known for her role as Betty Cooper in Riverdale, and she has publicly spoken about her struggles with her own self-image, as she has experienced body dysmorphia, and she has voiced her frustrations with the glorification of extreme thinness. And back in 2022, she wasn't afraid to voice her opinion on Kim Kardashian and her Met Gala outfit, which she wore Marilyn Monroe's iconic Happy Birthday Mr. President sheer rhinestone-covered dress. Kim has openly admitted to having to lose 16 pounds in 2 to 3 weeks in order to even have a chance to squeeze into this dress that was not made for her body proportions. And Lily wasn't having it, as it appeared Kim was glorifying disordered eating. So the actress took it to her Instagram story, releasing a long statement with her opinions as she went off. She said what Kim did was so wrong and so effed up on hundreds of levels, before stating, to openly admit to starving yourself for the sake of the Met Gala when you know very well that millions of young men and women are looking up to you and listening to your every word. The ignorance is otherworldly and disgusting. Please stop supporting these stupid, harmful celebrities whose entire images revolve around their body. I am not generally an angry person, but I swear to God the toxicity in this industry sometimes really gets to me, and I have to do my little Instagram story rant to release my rage. And for number 5, we have Barack Obama. You heard me right, the former US president has even spoken up about the Kardashians. During an interview with Amazon, he was discussing the toxicity of today's pop culture when he mentioned the names of the Kardashians. He stated, there was not that window into the lifestyle of the rich and famous. Kids weren't monitoring every day what Kim Kardashian was wearing or where Kanye West was going on vacation, and thinking that somehow that was a mark of success. Obama then referenced his childhood by saying, I don't think people went around saying to themselves, I need a 10,000 square feet house. We weren't exposed to things we didn't have in the same way kids these days are. And according to US Magazine, he was previously quoted by Michelle saying he prefers his kids not to watch this reality TV family show. Back when Kris Jenner actually had a talk show, she used her platform to respond to his claims by sharing that the former president seemed perfectly comfortable hanging out with his rich celebrities in their extravagant homes when he is raising millions of dollars for his campaign. She thought it was odd he accused Kim and Kanye for influencing a generation of youngsters to be obsessed with wealth and celebrity. Surprisingly, there's actually a few more times where Obama has made his opinions on the family pretty clear. For number 4, we have Khloe Grace Moretz. This actress has actually shared similar opinions as Pink, as she was also vocal about Kim's mirror selfie, which, if you already forgot, showcased the influencer in her birthday suit. Well, after Khloe saw this picture, she responded to the post by tweeting, I truly hope you realize how important setting goals are for young women, teaching them we have so much more to offer than just our bodies. And Kim didn't necessarily like what the actress had to say, which prompted her to respond as she wrote, let's all welcome at Khloe G Moretz to Twitter, since no one knows who she is. Your nylon cover is cute, boo. Funny because this response was not only sassy, but literally didn't touch on any of the points Khloe called out. I mean, the family themselves are controversial for setting unrealistic body standards and continue to lie about procedures they have received, so this definitely isn't the first or last time they will be shamed for what makes them famous, and that of course is their body. For number 3, we have Kanye West. I can't believe we made it this far down our list without mentioning too much about this rapper. Of course, he dated and married Kim as they share multiple kids together. Although he himself is very controversial, he is also quite outspoken. He has often discussed his disapproval towards Kim's parenting, as he accused her and Kris Jenner for pushing their daughters into the Playboy scene, or in other words, objectifying them. But hold on to that thought because it will come up again in the next point. It's no secret he doesn't like how Kim allows their kids to have social media, but one video in particular he believed was posted to antagonize him. The video was of North wearing makeup on TikTok. He has also leaked text messages between him and Kim, which their children are often a subject of. And during the former couple's custody battle in February 2022, Kanye revealed some big allegations. In his deleted statement that was posted onto Instagram, he stated that Kim accused him of putting a hit out on her, before continuing to type in all caps explaining how he begged to go to his daughter's party, was accused of being on substances, and suddenly was also accused of stealing and wanting to harm Kim. He continued to add, these ideas can lead him or someone to get locked up as they, in his words, play like that with black men's lives. Obviously, there are plenty of more statements Kanye has shared, but that could also be a video of its own. And for number 2, we have Ray J. He is half the reason why the Kardashians are even relevant, because of the infamous tape he and Kim made back in 2003 that surfaced the internet in 2007. He claims that Kris Jenner was behind the leak, as she apparently watched multiple tapes and chose which one to leak. Ray J told Daily Mail that he never possessed any of the original tapes or any similar films. Instead, he suggested the family family has them and he has never leaked anything. He also said this whole thing was a partnership and the whole thing has always been a deal between him, Kim, and Kriss since the very beginning. Allegedly, there were also contracts signed by Ray J and the Kardashians for all 3 tapes, and he is tired of having his name dragged and blamed publicly. And to refer back to Kanye's Playboy statement, well, the same year the tapes were out, Kriss pressured Kim into doing a photo shoot with Playboy that was captured on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. In fact, Ray J regrets his role in the release as it was apparently his idea after he saw the response to Paris Hilton's tape. And due to the contract, he wasn't able to speak up and defend himself as he believes the family wants him to continue to be labeled as the bad guy. But since he has a daughter now, it hurts him to think his daughter is going to go through life thinking her dad was someone he wasn't, which explains why he has begun speaking up on this issue. And for number 1, we have Caitlyn Jenner. Although viewers were able to see the relationship between Kriss and Caitlyn, who was formerly known as Bruce before transitioning, they have made it pretty obvious there is a feud between them. Since the former couple separated in 2013, it hasn't been drama-free. In 2015, Caitlyn told Diane she identified as a woman, which apparently was the first time the Kardashian and Jenners heard Caitlyn say that she was transgender. That same year, Caitlyn did a Vanity Fair cover story in which she spoke negatively about her marriage to Kriss and even claimed the reason why they divorced was 20% gender and 80% the way she was treated, before adding how a lot of times Kriss wasn't so nice and people would apparently see how Caitlyn was mistreated as she apparently controlled the money and other responsibilities. And in 2017, she released a tell-all book titled The Secrets of My Life that didn't help the feud going on, because Caitlyn alleges that Kriss was definitely not surprised by her transition as she made it out to be, because Caitlyn apparently told Kriss she dressed like a woman as she did it several times in front of her while they were married. The two never really talk anymore according to Caitlyn, and if there is communication needed between them, her manager often reaches out to Kriss, before admitting that she is quite sad, especially because the former couple went through a lot together.
From getting booed to get off the stage during a live Netflix event in front of thousands of people, to editing out the unhappy fans that were yelling at her, and having people hate her for wearing a corset so tight that she could barely breathe, it seems like the general public has finally decided to turn on Kim Kardashian. Now all aboard the Kim Kardashian hate train, because the year isn't even halfway over and there's a lot that needs to be covered. Now, as a Swiftie, I've been waiting for Kim Kardashian to get her karma, and it appears that she's been getting it in the last couple of weeks. Let's start by talking about her segment of Tom Brady's roast. The roast, which aired live on the streaming service Netflix on May 5th from the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, is now missing some notable footage from when Kim first took the spotlight. Live viewers couldn't miss the crowd's boos after host Kevin Hart introduced her, but the version currently available on Netflix, Kim is greeted exclusively by applause. For a very special toast, right, this toast has come from somebody worthy of a moment as such, a special friend and a special lady, Kim Kardashian, Kevin said. As Kim makes her way to the stage, the audience's only audible reaction is applause, as it was in the original broadcast. "Thank you so much, Kevin," she says in the edited version, as she then makes a joke about his height. But that's not what happened in real life. In the live broadcast, when Kim made an earlier attempt to deliver that first joke, it was interrupted by significant booing from the crowd following the initial applause. After saying, "I know a lot of people make fun of your height," she looked away from the teleprompter with irritation. All right, she said, as Kevin chimed in saying, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." Now, on Netflix, the roast includes a message that says, "edited from a previous live stream," but why would they take out the booing though? People who saw the stream live knew what happened and were already talking about it online. It wasn't a secret. And them editing it actually just made it an even bigger deal. Also, why was Kim even invited to an event like that? Reps for Netflix and Kim did not immediately respond for comments, so we may never get the answer. Now, it seems like Kim likes editing out things that make her look bad though. Cough cough, the Taylor Swift and Kanye West phone call. But hey, that's none of my business. Then there was the controversy at the Met Gala. Now, is it really a Met Gala if Kim K doesn't stir up some controversy? No, I don't think so. And this year, she was clocked for 2 things. First was for unattainable beauty standards. Kim was wearing a silver John Galileo corset-style dress that cinched her waist to an impossible degree. Like, it was so tiny, I don't know how she was even able to breathe. Now, one photographer shouted, "Your waist is crazy" at her, and indeed it was. was. But throughout the night, she was looking distinctly uncomfortable. Now, the still shots from the evening may be glamorous, but the reality looks painful. Her waist had been pulled in so tight that her vital organs looked like they had been displaced. Like it wasn't normal or natural. Now, she was actually having so much trouble moving that she needed assistance walking up the iconic gala steps. In a video posted to Vogue's YouTube channel, Kim revealed that breathing while wearing the look is an art form. "But I got it," she said, as assistants tightened the corset behind her. I'll feel so snatched, I won't even be able to communicate to you how snatched I feel," she said breathlessly. Now, on social media, many fans were not impressed with Kim's trim waist. "This extreme look sends all kind of wrong messaging," wrote one person on Twitter. Now, the look itself actually could have been dangerous. Depending on how much the waist is restricted, corsets can lead to difficulty breathing and fainting. In addition, compressing the organs in the abdomen can harm digestion and lead to the muscles in the back to atrophy. Now, long-term corseting can deform the rib cage. Then there was the cardigan with her look. She noted that her controversial cardigan, meant to evoke the idea of running out the door and grabbing her boyfriend's sweater, was intentional. "It's like the real life me when I go to an event and I have to make it home by 6 a.m. to get carpool. Real life happens." But some fans suspect she wore it as a dig to Taylor Swift, as Taylor wrote a song blasting Kim on her most recent album. Not to mention the fact that Taylor sells cardigans as a piece of her merch, and fans were quick to point out the similarities and make jokes.